Says we are live. We got no viewers yet, so.
You want to just go and do 30 seconds and call it that?
Yeah. What's up, everybody? VASCO Toys and Highschool Creations doing our first YouTube live.
Yo, it's weird. Sorry, I was on YouTube and it's like a 30-second delay. What's going on?
Just saw your comment pop up. So it looks like we got a handful of people in here. So we'll probably just give a couple, people a couple minutes to join. But yeah, I'm really excited. This is our third live that we're doing together, and it's our first YouTube live. So I think that, that's pretty exciting, and happy to be doing that with you, Mike, and just wanted to see how you're doing and see what you've been working on lately.
Yeah, man, everything's going great. I agree, man. This is our third iteration of this team up live, right? It's been very fun, everyone. I'm sure this one's going to be just as fun, if not better, than the previous one. So I'm looking forward to it, and really just appreciate to get to talk with you too. And everything's been going good, man, since I guess 2021 hit. We're out of 2020. It's been a very positive role so far. So at least for me creatively. So how about you?
Yeah, I have had probably one of my more productive months in terms of creating dios. Had a couple of commissions that have finished, including one that I finished last night, which is this dojo right behind me over my shoulder. And some other things too. I actually have a diorama that I'm going to be showing for the first time tonight. That'll be for sale. And actually just saw Nick in the chat, wanted to shout him out. He is, Steph is here from Detour Customs. What's up, Steph? Thank you for helping us get the word out about this. We've got a couple people joining as we speak. So as everyone starts rolling in, we'll kind of get underway. But yeah, no, it's been a really good month. Last year was an amazing year. I had the opportunity to work on a lot of different projects, and I think I created the most dials I ever did in a single year. So that was super great. And we just got Star Marvel in here too. So thank you for joining very much, Star Marvel.
That guy Customs, what's going on?
Oh, that I didn't even see. Oh, okay, awesome. Thanks for joining. But yeah, so I've been definitely working on a couple of different things, always trying to vary up the types of projects that I'm doing. So if I did a cityscape, maybe I'll do a landscape. Of course, commissions are what they are, but trying to challenge myself.
Right on. Yeah, dude, what you're putting out is dope. All the stonework, I've really been very jealous of. Like the dojo. Dude, the warehouse is still back there. It looks so good, dude. And there's some things that we're going to share tonight, and that warehouse is going to be a part of something that we're going to talk about. But really inspirational work. So.
Thank you. Yeah. No, I mean some of the stuff that you've been doing too, like that street scene that you have behind you, man. That's cool stuff. Yeah, I love that. It looks great. That's going to be a great piece for ACBA too. So I love the pictures you've been putting out. Oh, Final Boss is in here too. Shout out to him. So we definitely got some people rolling in here. So we appreciate that. And if everybody could just give the video a like. That would help us, just because we all know the more likes these things get, the more they get shown to people. But yeah, it's been really fun to see some of your projects. Probably one of my favorite ones that you've done is that sci-fi dial, though. That thing is insane.
Yeah, dude, it's a fun one, and it's been very photogenic. Like I probably put up some of my most favorite photos with it, but it's still not done, and I'm trying to find time to get it done. I'm hoping to get another corridor to go behind it so that you can get a really long depth of field. But we'll see. Hopefully, the next couple of weeks I'll be able to get it done, and then hopefully be able to do something with that, mid-year. But I've got a lot of work I got to get out before that. So, it's great to be busy, but at the same time, it's a blessing and a curse. So.
Yeah, definitely. So, Mike, we've been floating around like 10 people in here right now. And also wanted to make sure to note that anybody that's going to watch this as a recording, thank you guys too. Of course, this is a live video, but it'll be available afterwards for anyone who wants to watch it later. So we appreciate you guys as well. And one of the things that we're hoping to do tonight is do a little bit of a giveaway. And so I'm gonna let Mike explain that, because as you guys know, he's the giveaway champ. So we'll let him talk that over.
So basically, me and VASCO have been talking about doing lives for a while now, and on this recent one, he was very close to hitting a milestone, which is 500 subscribers for him. So I thought it'd be cool. I typically do some sort of giveaway, but really this one's going to be roadblocked by this particular milestone. So VASCO is 2 subscribers away from 500. I will not give this thing away, this bat cycle right over here, until he hits 500. So I'm going to watch this number all night.
We 500. We just hit it. We're at 502. We're at 502. Thank you guys. So Wade from Unparalleled just joined too. So always appreciate him, and loved your live last night with Toy Bro. So wanted to shout him out. But yeah, so we hit it. We're at 502, and I really appreciate that, guys. I've been on YouTube for, I guess it's been about 2 years. And, just making a video here and there to review dios. And so I really appreciate everyone who has subscribed.
Right on, you guys rock. I thought I was going to go through a long speech and really thank you guys, but you made it easy. And really give away this bat cycle. We'll probably go about an hour in, just to make sure there's enough people in here and make it exciting. And then we'll do a trivia question, kind of like what I did last week. We'll pop it up on the screen. First one that can answer it correctly will win the bat cycle, and I will ship that to you free of charge. These are Target exclusive right now. Sorry, I don't know where my finger is here. That thing over there. So they're somewhat hard to find if you haven't found them, and they were very cool, very detailed pieces of work. I wish I could keep it, but I made a promise to you guys, and you guys delivered. So I will be shipping that to the winner free of charge.
Hey man, speaking of Target, right? I don't toy hunt that much just because of everything going on. But I was in my Target last week, and I have never seen it so bare. The toy section so bare. It was sad. The only thing that they had that was cool, and I already have it, is the Jim Lee white suit Storm, on the retro card. They had 3 of them. Which was funny to me because back when that first came out, that was one of the figures that I was running around everywhere trying to find. But so it was kind of crazy to see 3 of them on the peg there.
Yeah, dude, I've been in there a few times. The only time I get out of the house is if I'm doing a run for pink foam or if I'm going toy hunting. So I agree. The Hasbro sections are all cleared out. McFarlane, I find a few things here and there. But it's been pretty bare for real.
So we'll move on from Target. Final Boss says that that's a sore subject. So let's get into some of the other stuff we were going to do. So we have a loose agenda, and of course, if whatever you guys want to talk about, put it into the comments. But the first thing that we're going to talk about is just our recent diorama projects. So I have a couple that I want to show, and I know Mike's been working on a ton of stuff. So we just kind of want to show you guys what we got cooking up, and see what you guys think, and just kind of explain some of the creation process for some of these things. So Mike, did you want to start, or do you want me to go first?
I'll rock, paper, scissors. No, I'll go first, I guess. So I've been posting about this one quite a bit. It's been a couple months, I think I've been working on this one, and this one's commissioned for Titan Bricks Toys. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him or follow him, but if you're not, you need to. He's got a lot of toys over on his site, which is in his bio, Titan Bricks Toys. I recently picked up, I'm going to shout him out for a second here before we get into his dio. Recently picked up this from him. I've not been able to find this in Walmart at all. And he hit me up and said, hey, this is going up. And, dude, I was able to get it. I've been looking for this Casey as well as the animated Casey, and he was able to come through. So you guys, if you're not following Titan Brick Toys, he's got the toys. Go follow him. With that said, if I don't knock anything over back there, I've been working on this very large street scene. It's about 36 inches wide. He's going to have this as a display for about 12 figures, Mezco, Hasbro, a couple different ones, light stands, etc. So he basically gave me creative freedom to do what I wanted to do, as long as it fit within a certain range and it would fit those figures and how he wanted to pose them. So I sent him over a few designs. Initially, how this came out is nothing like I designed. That's typically how it happens when I start working. But I think so far this has been really great. It's been a fun project. I tried a few different colors I normally wouldn't do for some street scenes, but I think it's turned out really great. But in a pizza parlor and like a computer, cell phone repair shop, things I feel like typically you may see downtown. This is supposed to resemble some sort of downtown. Apartment complexes up top. Some 3D printed weathered ACs. We got some, I don't know if you can see the lettering on the windows, but I'm also using a silhouette cameo for like vinyl, and that's how I did a lot of these letterings. It's really crisp and clean that way instead of me having to hand paint. So that's cool. Typical things that normally do is like 3D printing effects or parts, like manhole covers. CNC cuts as normal with the bricks, with the PVC doors you can see in the back. And then to top that off, I use cork as the texture for the concrete or the street, the asphalt, whatever it's called. That turns out really cool, and also gives you a nice base that your feet don't press into. One of the things I hate about foam, especially when we don't do a really hard coat, is it gets kind of scored up. This kind of prevents some of that, so that's really cool. All breaks down, it's all magnetized, and then what I failed to do is turn on some of the light here, and I'll try to do that without breaking anything.
And while you're doing that, Mike, just want to shout out the Sunny channel. He just joined us. Love what he does with his reviews, especially. Did you see his snowman review? That was hilarious.
Yeah, I did see it. Sorry,
that made me laugh when I saw it. But yeah, so Mike, are the AC units? I saw you had some of those were magnetized. Are those magnetized, and that one back there too?
These aren't. I tried that out as kind of like a gimmick for a couple dioramas, but the amount of effort and the reality of people swapping them around windows probably isn't very likely. So time ate up. It was cool, and I will do it if you ask me to do it. But it was a feature I tested and kind of considered it to be kind of a frivolous type thing, right? So.
Gotcha.
So it's going to be a lighted dio. There will also be lights in the window. This is still far from done. I still got weathering, still got some painting, some other details. But really into fun stuff, the stuff after you carve the foam and get a sculpture or a base, right? And then it all breaks down so it can be stored and shipped pretty easily. It was a very fun build. I think the thing that I'm using that I don't really talk about, and I was actually talking to Mario from 796 Studios about it today, is just how I do the lettering, right? I don't think we've ever talked about using a silhouette before, and I've used it for years. We just never talked about it. But he actually asked how you get your letters so clean and crisp, and that's what it is. I just design it in silhouette software and then cut it on the vinyl, and then put it on.
Mike, you're like, in my opinion, you're like the master of tools, man. You have like all the coolest tools.
I like tools, man. That's one of the reasons why I got into the hobby. I talked about it before, but I didn't just jump into dials. Like I was doing like cosplay and stuff like that. So always has some sort of tool or woodworking tool, so it's cool. I like it.
No, that's awesome. I love the way that's coming out, and I love what you chose with the pizzeria and the computer repair shop too.
I was kind of disappointed by my post. Nobody laughed because I said something about, if you're getting a pizza while your computer's the Trojan removed. The site we don't really talk about, but we know exists. No one said anything. Guess it was a bad.
Oh my gosh! Everybody in the chat agrees you're a tool master.
I'm a tool? What?
Tool master.
Just kidding.
No, you're definitely not a tool. All right. So, as far as the sci-fi one goes, I know you said there's still stuff to do on that. You've got all the lighting in and everything on that, right?
Yeah, lighting is in except for the base. On the base, it's just sitting there, but it will be mounted in just like the other stuff is. And it's pretty much a prototype, so it may not be in the end how it's built. It'll look the same, but how it's built will be a little different. The reason I say that is because the lighting, how I have it installed, may be different because it's a learning curve, right? Especially with the product. Right. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much ready to go. I just want to add more to it. I have some. I picked up the resin printer at the end of December because they were on sale.
Yeah.
I'm doing some like little droid panels and some other just little accents, right? Just to throw a little bit on there and set it off a little bit. But I think it's pretty much ready to go for like ACBA type pictures, or just photographs in general. Your diorama kind of fades in the back, so I think it needs all the things to make it give that appearance. It's a sci-fi corridor, but I just want to put those extra things on top of it.
Hey, Mike, while you were explaining that, Dan Who popped in here. So want to thank him because he said it's late over there, but he just wants to, drop by and show some support. So we really appreciate that, Dan. And always love everything you put out. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Dan had said on one of the lives, either his own or maybe when he was on with Unparalleled, that he wants to get into dio building at some point, which would be really cool. To me, it makes either if you're building them yourself or getting them from somebody, it just makes your collection so much more enjoyable. Obviously, we're biased. This is what we like to do. But I would much rather stick my figures in a warehouse dio than just like in my DTOF, which I do have some in my DTOF, but it just makes it a lot more fun.
Yeah, and then doing dios yourself. Oh, that's weird. No,
I think you're good. You're good.
Doing dios yourself. A weird echo coming back. I don't think it's me.
I don't hear it on my end.
Yeah, it's just me then. So doing dios yourself, yeah, it's definitely rewarding, and then sticking your, like you said, your figures in there really sets them off from just vanilla poses. But again, if you got hundreds of figures on the shelf in a certain stance, it still looks awesome. So
it does
go either way. So.
The thing too, Mike, if anybody out there who wants to start doing dios, or just wants to try to build one, right? Because that's how we all start. Like, I'm going to try this. Just understand that you have to get out there and try it, and don't, you want to try your best, but even if it's not exactly what you want the first time, if it's something that you enjoy the process of, it's worth exploring if you have time and trying to get to the, next project and saying, all right, well, I did this. Let me see if I can make it a little bit better. And I feel like there are so many resources on YouTube specifically that really can help you learn. I mean, that's pretty much how I learned, was just watching Al Figures and some other people, and then just trying to get in there and do different things and making mistakes and all those things that we've talked about on our Instagram lives in the past.
Yeah, I totally agree. And, one of the things about kind of what I was just saying is dio building is fun, right? Get into it to have fun. Don't get into it to make a masterpiece right off, right? It's totally a learning experience, right? You learn from each project and apply it to the next one. I have an example of a total fail. I think I might have talked about this before, but I tried to do a Saiyan pod at one point.
Yeah.
And, I think my light's washing it out a little bit, but it's totally shit, right? It's not square. I tried to shave off. I tried to use foam gel or something to make it smooth. Try to do Vegeta's seat.
Yeah.
You're gonna fail. You learn from it and move on, and then find out what tool will work best for it the next time. So it's something you're going to get into and you're going to build up, right? You don't expect to have a piece of trophy dio right off the get.
No. And it's funny, Mike, you mentioned mistakes. I don't know if I've ever told this story before. It's not much of a story, but when I first started doing dials, I think the third or fourth one I did was a bat cave that fit in a DTOF. And I tried to make a chair, like a chair for Batman. And I had no idea what I was doing. And all I had was a box cutter at the time and the pink foam. I tried to carve like a chair out of a stack of glued foam. Like, no idea what I was doing. And it was horrible. It was so bad. But the rest of the dio I thought was good. So I was just like, you know what? You're not putting a chair in this dio. It looks bad. It doesn't look, it's going to bring the rest of it down. So we'll leave the chair out. We'll just post everything else. And hopefully people like it. And, it ended up being a piece that I'm very fond of. But it is something I want to tackle again, especially now that I have, where is he? My Mafex, here he is, The Dark Knight Returns. I got this as a gift from a friend in the toy community for around Christmas time. And I love this figure. And so I'm thinking about doing several different things with him. Oh, you got Piccolo in there. Definitely thinking about doing a back cave for him. Definitely thinking about doing, Tech Chucker had actually sent me the files for the bat signal that he did. I don't know if you remember, but he 3D printed a bat signal shortly after he got his 3D printer, maybe like a year ago. And I thought it looked really, really good. So I told him, I know you got it on Thingiverse, but could you send me your G code? Because I just feel like yours looks amazing, and I'll give you like credit when I post it and stuff. But I haven't gotten around to doing it yet. But now that I have him, I feel like I need to have legit Batman-esque dios to feature him in.
Yeah, Batcave. I know this is a Batcave. A Batcave would be sweet. Any of the like Gotham style, like what do they call them? The buildings, the building architecture. That would be dope.
Yeah.
Kind of what you've already done with your wall dio, but take that to the next level. I could totally see you doing it, right? Just have Batman.
You're reading my mind. I already printed out the windows for a project like that. I just haven't done it yet.
Nice. Yeah, it's gonna be nice. I'll probably be doing it.
Adam Gonzalez says gargoyles. That's definitely something I want to start getting into too. I'm just not that good of a 3D designer for things that are not simple geometric shapes. So like if I would probably, it would take me a long time to try to design a gargoyle myself. I know there are files you can get, but I think, it would be something I want to try definitely. Looks like DJ's Diorama's in here too, so thank you to him for joining as well.
Yo, what up, man? Yeah, I think that'd totally be cool, and I would definitely be interested in a dio that's got one of those. Is it Gothic style architecture on it, especially for Batman?
And you know what? There's just so many things that can inspire you too. Even if you just do a Google image search. There's just so much out there that I want to do. And one other thing I'm trying to get more into, since I'm trying to get better at ACBA, is just getting into some books, getting some comics. I asked my wife, my birthday's next week. Yeah, I saw that, man. That's really cool. Yeah, my birthday's next week. And so I was talking to Unparalleled maybe 2 days ago about the fact that now that I got this this Batman from Mafex, however you say it, I really want to get the Hush Batman too. And so if I get the Hush Batman, I want to get Batman Hush, like the graphic novel. I've never read it. And then that way I can kind of draw inspiration for posing and also for dioramas, because any backdrop that's in there, you could kind of expand in your mind and try to make that as a dial. So hopefully she'll get that for me, because that'd be pretty cool. But we're talking about recent dio projects, and one of the ones I wanted to show you guys, I have several, but the first one I wanted to show you is a commission, and it's actually it's a dojo diorama. I'm going to grab it real quick. Okay, so this one's only an interior, so it doesn't, I don't have like paint on the sides, as you can see. So it is fully magnetized. It has several different pieces to it. Of course, the base, and then the two side walls, the back wall, and it does have like this removable beam on the top that you can actually stand figures on, as long as you don't put too many of them on there. It'll be fine. Like articulated icons ninjas are perfect up there. But so with that, like I said, this is the third version of this that I've done, and each one has been slightly different. Each one was a commission. And so the last one that I did before this, it was on Instagram. Awesome Row had purchased one from me, or commission one, and he came up with the idea to add in the beam. And so I told him afterwards, I was like, that was such a great idea. I'm going to start doing that for anyone that kind of commissions a dojo. And, it's something I'm really glad that I have. And you can take it out too if you don't want it in there for a shot or something. And then the other thing about this is every time I've had a different symbol that people have wanted. So I think this one is hand. So I don't know if like this person is going to put a bunch of hand ninjas in there. But it's kind of cool, because what I do with that is I just take some cardstock and I soak it in coffee, and then I bake it for like 5-10 minutes at 250 in the oven. And then after that's out, you got that like really nice, like old looking kind of paper effect. And then I'll take a Sharpie and I'll just draw whatever the symbol is. And, just kind of try to make it look like it's still hand done, the way that maybe a traditional sign like that would be. And then the windows and everything, I'll show you guys. Like all of my windows, very, very bright, but you can, they're backlit capable. So all of them across the three sides. And that's something that I think, for me, somebody who's maybe not the best with lighting to begin with in my photography, that's something that I think helps me take some better photos. Just the features that you can build into the dial that accentuate the lighting that you're trying to get. And Prime to the First just joined. Thank you for joining, man. We're just talking about some recent diorama projects. But yeah, this one is going to be going out on Monday. I have another one that actually that Wade purchased from me that's going out on Monday. So I'm definitely going to be spending tomorrow getting my dials packed up. And so thank you to the gentleman that commissioned this, and also Wade for his purchase too. And just going to keep trying to crank out commissions. I've got a little bit of a waiting list, and then add in some other projects. And I'll show you guys some other things too here that are actually for sale and were not commissions.
Nice. Yeah, it's always great to just be able to keep cranking out some dials, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I guess I'll show them now if you don't mind, Mike. So one of them I had posted about. So whenever I do these thrones, and I don't usually post like my pricing, but whenever I do a throne, as long as it's not something crazy intricate with a bunch of 3D printing on it, this is just foam, and it's just supposed to look kind of like chipped away kind of a throne. Something like this is $75 shipped. So this is for sale. If anybody is interested in it, you can just let me know. But This will work really well with 1/12 scale figures, Doctor Doom. I think I tested out Thanos in here. I think he fits in here. But any of your villains pretty much will fit in here pretty good. So there's that one. And then this one I haven't posted much about, but I finished painting it last night, and I did some different things with this. So I've done 3 terrain dios recently, and mainly because I got a couple of Black Series figures for Christmas, and it just made me immediately think like Star Wars terrain scenes, like desert scenes. So I started like trying to do that, and this one has a different color to it than some of the other ones. So normally I will either blackwash something or use a nutmeg brown by Apple Barrel to just put down the first layer. And for this one, it's kind of like, let me try something different. I just used a basic gray acrylic first. And then I went over, and I don't know how well you guys can see this because my camera's not great. Then I went over with straight up like I think it was called Earth Brown, dry brushed certain parts of it. Then I took a caramel, dry brushed certain parts of it, and then like a desert sand color and did that on top. So I'll post pictures of this tomorrow, and this one is going to be for sale. So you guys can kind of see it better because my light is super bright and it's just not ideal for this. But the cool thing about this one is that it has 4 different modular rock pieces that you can put wherever you want. So this one, for example, I have like a vertical rock in there. But I designed them so they can kind of fit in several different ways that make sense to each other. But they're all modular, so you put them wherever you want. There's a smaller one too with a little vertical piece. And I mean, anytime I make a landscape dio, like a lot of people, I really, really go back to Lawless Studios, and I'll just look at his stuff, and it just inspires me so much because his stuff just looks so cool. So I've kind of come to terms with like, you're not going to recreate a Lawless dio because he's amazing and he just has his own style. But what you're going to do is try to come up with your own kind of rock style. So I've been doing like this layered kind of slate thing in the past few, and like especially down here you can kind of see it. But yeah, I'm just trying to do something different with it.
Hey Vern, there will be penalties for being late, so I'll take that up with you after the live. But there will be penalties.
So DJ's Diorama has an interesting question. It's about like not posting prices and why like some people do it and some people don't. I think like part of it is just I mean for me personally, it's like if somebody's interested enough to DM me about it, I feel like that already, it's almost like when we're selling these things, right? We don't always know the people we're dealing with. Very frequently we don't. So it's almost like an extra layer of credibility if I say like, hey, I'm posting this for sale, DM me if you're interested. It's like a first entry point of credibility that you actually want to buy the dial, because I think Mike and I could both attest to some unfortunate interactions that we've had in the past on occasion where someone either gets really far into the planning process of a dial commission and then backs out or ghosts you, or just having someone commit to something and not do it. So for me, part of it is just like, it's a credibility thing. Like if you're willing to reach out to me to ask, I already know that there's a certain level of interest from you. But also I think, certain people don't want to put the price out there because there can definitely be sticker shock. Like these things are not cheap. And also one of the things too is once you put something in writing, let's say like I put whatever that dojo costs in writing, the next time someone wants a dojo from me, they may come to me and say, I want you to make a dojo. I know you sold it for this price, but I want X, Y, and Z added to it. And that's not going to happen because there's extra work that goes into it. So unless you're getting that identical piece, you're not getting that pricing, because it could be more or less based on what you're actually doing.
Yeah, I think those are great suggestions. And it's all going to be based on what you do, right? For instance, you are, or maybe DJ Dioramas is treating it like a business. For me, my Instagram, I don't ever sell on Instagram, so I would never list any prices. And people try to hit me up and buy, but that's not why I'm posting. I'm posting on status. I'm posting on what I do as Highschool Creations. If you want to go buy from me, go to my Etsy page. Another thing is, customer confidentiality. Like, I'm not going to say what I charged someone previously. That's their business. I work with them, based on commissions, and that leads into the final thing. I only work commissions at this point. On-demand builds are all through Etsy, and my pricing is very clear there. So that's why I don't list.
And another thing too, like, especially with commissions, if somebody reaches out to me and asks about commission pricing, it's a complicated thing. I mean, I know it's one thing if you have a piece for sale and you just post it and you already know what you're going to charge. But for commissions, I have a full sheet of like different tiers of sizes and all those things that I use as a starting point. And then someone will tell me, okay, I'm thinking I want this size and this is the kind of dio I want. And then I'll use their feedback with that tier listing and actually quote their specific project and also sketch out what the dio is going to look like so that we're both in agreement of what the vision for it is. And then if they have changes they want made to it, we can do that too.
Absolutely. Yeah. And, with every diorama, it's going to be different too. Like I was saying before, most of what I do is commissions, right? So it's very hard to give a price when one person wanted all this much detail and the next person doesn't. However, to the I'll say untrained, but you guys won't know what I mean. If you're just looking at it in a picture, it may appear to be the same, but it actually isn't. There was more time spent on certain areas, and it gets hard to justify. And I'm not going to go back and forth with someone on Instagram about my pricing.
Right, and also, Mike, what you're just saying there. So I said I've done 3 versions of this dojo, right? Every time I did it, I learned something that caused me to hopefully, in my mind, up the quality. So for this one right here, I painted every single piece on its own before ever assembling it. So that definitely took more time than me constructing the pink foam, gluing everything in place, and then painting it. And it also leads to a better final product because there's no paint bleeding on that, because it's already painted before I glue like the beams to the walls or any of those things. So it's also, I mean, also with pricing, 2 years ago, something that I did may not be as good as what it is now. So that pricing may be outdated for what I'm able to put together now.
Yeah.
By learning new skills or learning new efficiencies or whatever, it could go up or down. I mean, like the CNC that you have, you may be able to make something much, much quicker, much more efficient. That might drop the price a little bit.
Yeah. And I think hopefully, DJ Dioramas, we've answered your question. And there are a couple other questions that came in. One that struck me was from that guy Customs. What's up, dude? Can you throw these up? I don't know if you can or not. But would you like to join us in a scrap foam build? I don't know who that question's to. I will be up for any challenge. I'm not going to tell you no. But what I can tell you is I'm very methodical. And I think about my builds before I build them. So I would probably lose, but I'll take your challenge.
This is a scrap foam build right here. So like one of the reasons I started doing the couple desert, I've done 3 this month, was because I have a ton of scrap foam and a lot of it was really strange shapes and things that I really wouldn't use for anything except for rock formations. So I decided that I was going to try to do them. Even the base piece, it's somewhat rectangular, but it's not perfect. And so if I cut it down, I could make it perfect. 90 degrees, but it wasn't. So I just decided to make it a rock formation piece, for these three. So I would definitely do that. Great question.
Yeah, and I guess Final Boss had a. You guys make money off this? No, I don't make any money. I just try to earn street cred. That's why I truly have no prices. I give mine away.
See you later, Unparalleled and That Guy Customs. Thank you guys for joining and for the comments and everything. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Let's see, we got a couple other questions in here.
Oh, how many people we got?
Right now we have 15.
Terrible co-host. How many we got? Hey, 1 second. You guys have probably already done this, but if you don't mind, just to help generate a little bit more traffic, if you don't mind sharing this out on Instagram, just get a few more people in here. I feel like we have a good crew. I know everybody in here, but it'd be great just to get a few more people in here before we do the giveaway. We would like to do the giveaway at 10. So if you guys don't mind, if it's not too imposing or too much of an effort to go over, to Instagram and maybe just give a few shout outs that, VASCO are live out here. That'd be awesome. If not, I completely understand. You want to probably keep the winners or at least the participants in the challenge low. But if you have it in your heart to do so, please do it.
Yeah. So we have another question too, and we appreciate anybody who shares this, of course. But this one kind of was intriguing to me, so I wanted to toss this to you first, Mike, because you made the X Mansion, and we both done big dios. You did the X Mansion, and I did the lava scene from the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie. But wanted to see what you think about this, and then I can maybe add my perspective.
I'm going to tell you, like I told that client, go big or go home. If you're going to do it, make sure it's to the true scale, right? So you want to do a building for the Avengers in-game dio that should hold about 20. That's a large – wait. What scene are we talking about? I guess in-game is the battle scene. Is that what we're talking about?
And are we talking about 1/12 scale? I think we are, but I'm assuming that.
I'm still going to stick to my guns. Go big or go home, right? So you can do forced perspective, which is a little more complicated for maybe beginners. I can't do it, but I still consider myself a beginner. But you can do forced perspective to get it to look big, or you could actually make it big. I've seen some pretty big in-game dios out there. They're pretty much linear, so they can fit a bunch of figures. But I think there's a couple different ways to tackle it. But for 20 figures and decent poses, if they're not vanilla poses, you're probably looking at no smaller than 36 inches. So that's, depending on your display area, that's a pretty large diorama. So, and it would depend on the scene, right? If you're doing a building scene, or if you're doing the end scenes, like where they're fighting on the rock terrain or whatever that is, the old ruins of the Avenger Tower or whatever that is. But I don't know if I really answered the question. I'm giving you more questions than you gave us.
I think honestly, when you're planning it out, what I would do is make sure that you go to Home Depot and get one of the huge, I guess it's an 8-foot piece of foam, and then cut it to the size that you think, or place it on the floor and place. If you just place like 20 figures where you think you want them before you cut it, then you could at least have an idea of like, all right, if I make it this big, I'm going to have some room or I won't. And so planning at the very beginning is important. And so you could definitely stage what you want to try to accomplish. That's what I did with, this is a pretty big dio here, the warehouse dio. When I posted pictures of it originally, I had already made a bunch of crates that I wanted to put in there. And then I also put all of my X-Men the Animated Series like characters in there, just to see, did I actually have room for all this stuff with none of the details already put in there. So basically the rough outline of what I wanted to do with just pink foam. But that's a great question.
Yeah, you should always measure and then cut, right? So you should build up with blue tape, pink foam, Try to do some loose cuts to get the idea of what you want to build, and make sure that's it before you commit and start gluing things together or doing a lot of detail or just committing your time to it. You want to think through it, right? Some people disagree with this, but you should maybe also plan to draw it out. You heard Vasco mention what he does for his clients. I do the same thing. I try to draw it out and give them some sort of render. It may not end up looking the same, but it'll help you as well as your client understand kind of where you're going with it. And then you can also achieve some sort of scale before you actually start cutting. That way you can give accurate prices. If this is commissions, right? This may be a personal thing, but you can get, understanding of what your material costs will be ahead of time, right? So you're not wasting, material.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, as much as you can kind of plan up front, that's really the best thing, I think. Like, a lot of people, I hear, kind of to both philosophies. Some people do sketch them out beforehand. Some people don't. I've kind of done it both ways. The rock formation, I didn't, because it was kind of just like a free form. However I cut the rocks, I cut the rocks. But then with something that has to be more precise, like the dojo, I have very specific, that fits in a DTOF. So I have very specific dimensions that I'm working with, that you have to make sure you're meeting.
Yeah, definitely. And Star Marvel, huge fan of your work, by the way. I would agree with you in our circle, right? Especially, the Hasbro collector, Mezco collector. I would agree. 1/12 scale is the de facto scale. But I will tell you, I am doing a 1/64 scale for Hot Wheels starting in 2 weeks. Like, there are other scales to work in, and then his inner circles for his particular build, that is the default scale. So I guess it all depends on your audience, but I would agree for us, 1/12 scale is probably default. We just have to be sure to ask that, especially on a commission.
I've actually never done any dio builds outside of 1/12 scale, so I always think in terms of that. I just wasn't sure if he was.
Yeah, I mean, but it's a legit question to ask a customer, especially if you don't know them. So
yeah,
1/64 scale is Hot Wheels, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, I'm doing it for Hot Wheels. I'm gonna do an exotic car dealership and garage. I'm actually going to use a new tool. I know you guys call me the tool guy, but I have a new tool that is being built. It should be delivered by the end of February, just in time to do this. I have a laser being built by Boss Laser, so I'll be able to do so much more finer detail. So I'm planning to do that out of some sort of harder material that'll last a little longer. So that'd be cool.
One day I want to see your workshop in person, Mike. For anyone who doesn't know, who's just watching for the first time, Mike and I we both live in South Carolina. We only live like 2 hours from each other. So actually, a couple weeks ago, we did meet up, and we had lunch, and it was pretty cool because a lot of us don't get to see people in person that much these days, and it was just kind of a cool thing for us to be able to do. And hopefully when the pandemic is over, we'll be able to do some maybe some in-person builds together, or just talk dios, talk figures kind of thing in person.
Absolutely. I think one of the biggest things that we've really been advocates of, and unfortunately it's been stifled by COVID-19, but I did hear today, though, little sidebar, by 2022 all adults should be vaccinated. So we should be good by 2022. Anyway, going back to that, we're definitely advocates in getting together and doing builds together and getting a community, those who want to, meet up with us or something once all this is over. I will say, though, a lot of people gave me crap for going out to eat. I didn't get COVID. Did you get COVID?
No.
I wore my mask. So it is safe if you guys want to venture out. Just
Prime to the First says Meetup 2023.
I'll be an old man, dude. I won't be able to walk by then. I'll be in a nursing home. That's a long time from now.
Vern's Hobby says, I'll drive down. I'm near Toronto. If you drive down from Toronto, we're going to have to give you something for that, because that's crazy. But
and it won't be COVID. It'll be something very nice.
Or some kind of crazy like props or something.
Yeah, dude. If you drive down, I'll at least buy you McDonald's.
at least a dollar menu, you know, like fries and a soda and some kind of nuggets or something.
Nuggets, that's high class right there.
Yeah, man. If he's gonna drive down from Toronto, you gotta treat him right.
Right on.
So the next thing we were going to talk about is toy photography, and I think maybe what we'll do is just wait till after we do the giveaway, and then get into that. So
I'm gonna go check and make sure you're still at 500. Make sure we didn't get any.
Oh yeah, any people who just sub just to be part of the giveaway. If they did, that's okay. But I'd like to. Oh, we're at 507 now.
Yeah, 507.
Yeah, no, I really agree. First of all, I didn't say this in the beginning, but I definitely need to. That was really cool of you, Mike, to do that. To encourage people to subscribe and offer up not just a giveaway, but like a really awesome giveaway. So I appreciate that, man. And I appreciate everybody who's subscribed. It's just kind of fun. The reason that I have a YouTube is just because I don't keep a lot of the dials I have. You guys do see some behind me. These are the only ones I have right now, and 2 of them are getting shipped out on Monday. But the reason I have a YouTube is because I want to memorialize kind of all the art that I've done. And so since I don't have it in hand, just doing a video to me is going above and beyond an Instagram post, even with pictures and videos, like short video clips. And it also kind of like timestamps it for me. So hopefully when I look back on it years from now, I'll be able to say, oh yeah, I was doing this at that time. And I really enjoyed that project because of X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, dude, and that's awesome. I'm doing it because I want everybody to grow, right? Everybody to grow right along with us. We'll all rise in this community together. And I'll go to a quote. Ray Dalio, I don't know if he's like a stock guy, but he always says how he wants to be the dumbest guy in the room. I want to be the littlest guy in the room, but still getting everybody to come up, right? And maybe that doesn't sound as good as I thought it did, but Ray Dalio, go check him out. Got a lot of good concepts. But dude, you got great work. Why? And we work together. I feel like we're a good team.
Yeah.
Kind of transparent on the live. I guess this is a little bromance happening here. But you guys, yeah, dude, you wanted to get there, and we're doing a live together. Why not incentivize it, make them happen while we're live, right? And that's what happened. So it's a fairy tale ending to our bromance.
And well, thank you. And I've said this to you before. I'm really glad that you and I 6 months ago were aware of each other, and we would comment on each other's things, but really until this fall we didn't really start to become friends. I'm just really glad that we are, and that it's fun to have somebody that's relatively close to you in location wise that you can enjoy your hobby with, because it's something that we put a lot of time into, and you want to be able to share with other people that also care about it. So that's definitely cool. Sonny says, everyone should grow together. I agree with that. And I feel like this past year, personally for me, I'm watching so many more YouTube videos of people in the community that maybe I was following on Instagram before, and I was just liking their posts there. But now I find myself like feeling like I'm really in the community, and I want to be, like watching people's stuff, commenting on people's stuff, seeing other people succeed and try new projects. It's really cool. It's a really fun time, I think, to be involved in all this, and I'm very grateful for it.
Yeah, definitely. It's not a competition. We're all in it together. We're trying to show everybody else in those other communities, like the Beanie Baby communities or whatever it is, how tight we are over here in the action figure diorama world. So, and I think it's showing, right? So we'll all grow together. We all love each other. No beef.
Hey, Mike, real quick, before we do the giveaway, somebody at the Diorama Project asked this question. I'm going to just take a real quick break, if that's cool. And if you want to talk about your bucket list for a minute while I'm away, then maybe after I come back, we can do the giveaway.
Sure. Um, and I think Prime was saying something earlier. 2023 isn't that far away, but yeah, I already have a bucket list for dioramas. Like I'm not going to make it to 2023, and I'm chipping away at that bucket too. So I agree. I like the bucket list idea, and what I wanted to do, and I think this was back in October because I took a vacation with the family. We all went up to the mountains and did like a little getaway, right? There was barely any internet. I actually signed up to Instagram to pump out some um, repost of some work that I'd done, so it was automated. And I just went up there and just chilled. Unfortunately, I ended up falling the first night down some rocks, hurt my back, so I was down the entire week. Anyway, to get into it, the bucket list diorama was meant to really just the diorama creators that I was most interested in, that I saw doing work that I felt some sort of connection to, or we had talked, and I really wanted to throw that out there as a means of getting attention to those guys, since those were kind of like my favorite. Excuse me. So I came up with the bucket list idea. There was these 10 diorama. Unfortunately, with like stories, you can only do 10. There's actually more than 10, so I may alter the bucket list at some point. But there were definitely 10 that I could call out that I wanted dioramas from. And, as a diorama creator, I understand the amount of effort that goes into a diorama. I think most people do, at least in this live tonight. But there's people outside of the community that don't look at them the way that we do. And the way I look at them is they are pieces of art, right? They are inspiration from something other than what I see. They're created totally different than how I do it. And I love the creative process. And the only way to really see that is to actually have a piece in your hand. You can see it in some videos or in posts on Instagram. But those that have quality work, I really want to see it and have it a piece of my own in my own collection, just like action figures, right? So there were 10, and my customs, who I'm very close with, I had them on the live last week, VASCO Toys, if I can talk, which I already have like 3 or 4 dioramas from, Lawless Studios, Al Figures, El Chombo, X Manny Shop, I can't remember the list right offhand. I think who is it? Marvelous Nick, definitely. And most of these people I even have invited over to like a diorama talk that I'll be trying to do each week throughout the year. But I think the point I'm trying to make is these people I had a connection to. I like their working process. I like their creative style, and I wanted to have a piece in my collection. Since I posted that, I've actually probably cleared out down to half. There's a few people that's going to be tough to get some from, just because I know the amount of requests they get. Like Al Figures is going to be tough to get one from, or those workshops going to be tough to get one from. But like I've been able to get one from my customs. I have one. I have work from Marvelous Nick, VASCO Toys, Lawless Studios is at the top of the list. We all know how great his dioramas are. I'm still talking. So sorry. So I can go a while on this one. But the point is I'm chipping away at it. I'm probably going to grow the list a little bit because I'm not planning on dying in the next couple of years. I need to have a bucket list that keeps going. But like I said, the last couple of ones are going to be tough to get from, which is understandable. But they are, just hard to get to. So hopefully one day I'll be able to close out the bucket list, and I'm working towards it. But the main theme is, as I ramble on about this, is want those pieces of art in my collection. Really appreciate the work that goes into them, and I admire them.
And I can tell you guys too, as somebody that Mike bought something from, and he actually bought pieces from me, several, at a show, and it was the first time we met in person, right, Mike?
No, I think we met somewhere else before. I thought it all runs together, dude. Now I just feel like I know you. So I
think it was the first time we met in person, and I just remember thinking to myself, like, this is so cool that somebody who's so talented, who could actually just make this himself, or make a version of this, wants to buy my stuff. I was extremely flattered, and definitely want want to get some pieces from you too in the future, especially like some of the things that I feel like you're definitely known for, like your dumpsters. I really want to get a dumpster from you coming up here soon. And I know you've been.
Sonny. Sorry. Sonny's peacing out.
What's that?
Sonny's peacing out.
Oh, okay. See you, Sonny. Thanks for joining. But yeah, no, I definitely want to get some pieces from some people too, when I can, especially things that they are really known for. Like, for example, like Terraformer. I want to get crates from Terraformer just because, like, he's the person that made me want to make crates.
Right. Yeah, I got some crates from the Crate King, actually. Marvelous Nick. I got some.
Did you? He's another one. He's another one that makes amazing stuff. I mean, the thing about his crates too that I love, I didn't see Jay's Figs was in here. What's up, Jay? Is that some of his are really like he makes some really cool like bigger crates for 1/12 scale that I really like.
Yeah, which is cool because they can hold like some sort of crazy treasure or some kind of vehicle. Yeah, I definitely liked it. So I got his prop pack actually, and it came with steel beams, crates, drums, chain link fence. Dude, it was overwhelming the amount of stuff it came with. So I do want to give him a lot of props. Marvelous Nick has got some stuff going on there, and it's really appreciative. And I actually will be live with him March 6th. So if you guys like Marvelous Nick, you want to interview with him. Or
I also love not just his Dio stuff, but I feel like he does some really good photography with his pieces. I always love seeing his pictures. He did some with the the Venom wave that just came out with like the venomized miles and some things like that I just thought were really, really cool.
From Marvelous Nick?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude. His Carnage army building, like, yeah, he was all over it. Like, yeah. Hey, real quick, I think it's like 10 o'clock. We should probably do the giveaway before we lose some people. I hate that Sonny's not here, but if Adam wins, Sonny wins. So we already know that.
So I'll throw up the question if you're ready.
Yeah, so just to talk about it a little bit. So again, let me pull this down. So I know a lot of us give Toddy Mac a lot of shit, but when it comes to his 1/12 scale vehicles, they are the shit. And I will say this thing is freaking awesome. Right now it's kind of exclusive. So soon we know that he will put these on the shelves everywhere. But right now they're kind of hard to find. And I'm going to give you the only one I have for helping VASCO get to 500. So tonight we're going to do a trivia question. And the first person that's able to answer it correctly, I will send this to you out of my personal collection. It's not been opened. It is legit. It is Toddy Mac. I want to call it a rat bike, but it's actually the bat bike. I don't see wheels on it, but yeah. So VASCO is going to put up a trivia question. You guys answer it. The first person we see in the chat with the correct answer will win this bike. So best of luck, and yeah, we can post up that question.
All right, guys, countdown from 3. 3, 2, 1. Whoever answers it first will win correctly, of course.
You may get some beard droppings on the box, but on the outside of the box.
Star Marvel says his keyboard game is weak. You can do it, man. Oh, we got a winner. Steve, I'm not going to try to pronounce your last name. He's the winner.
Detour Customs, right?
It's not Detour Customs.
Oh, it's not?
Yeah. This is our winner here. Actually, oh shoot. I was looking at the wrong. I had a delay. It is Detour Customs.
Yeah, I was about to say.
I'm sorry about that. Yeah, no, that was the first one I saw on my screen, but then it looked like there were some that popped up right before it. I apologize for that, guys. It is Detour Customs.
Hey, Steve V, I'm not going to pronounce your last name. If you hit me up in DMs on Instagram, I'll send you some stickers for that little snafu. But
for my mistake.
You win.
I'm sorry about that, guys. No, but I don't have any McFarlane stuff, and that bike and that Grim Knight Batman look pretty cool. I don't know like if they're actually going to be, you know, posable based on what I hear, but let's hope that they're cool.
The sticker game is strong here, guys. My PO box is still empty, so come on.
Man, I have to make a sticker order because what I used to do before I would 3D print, I now on all of my dios, I'll do like a 3D printed version of my logo. You guys probably can't see it super well on this camera, but before I had the 3D printer, I just ordered a bunch of stickers and I would stick the logo on the bottom of them so that it wouldn't, you know, be like kind of right in your face. Here I try to camouflage it with the paint job, but I ran out of my stickers a while ago and I've been meaning to make some more orders so I can send you some. One thing that I was thinking about doing, Mike, in my workshop is I have stickers from Diorama creators and Terraformers so far. And I know a bunch of people have them. And I want to try to like find a section of a wall in my workshop and make like a sticker wall of all. That looks great. Keep that there. But I want to make like a sticker wall of all the people that are in the community that have stickers that you know, that I admire, kind of. So that could be pretty cool.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm trying to do, actually. And that's awesome. Like everybody at this point, if they get in the sticker swap, will have stickers. They'll be able to do that in their space, right? I know Marvelous Nick already does that. There's a lot of people who just have stickers from all the different creators in the community. And what a better way to just, you know, create some kind of fast lane and start getting a bunch of stickers. I lied. MCU is the first one to send me some stickers, and I have to appreciate him very much. I'm going to send you something extra special, but if you happen to see this video, I know you're very above these kind of videos for us 500 and below YouTubers, but I do want to say mad respect. He sent me some stickers. Not only did he send me one, but he sent me foil stickers and different kinds, and even
man, those are really cool.
Special, sir, and I do appreciate it. Hopefully, at some point, this will get kicked off. I'm sitting on $300 or $400 worth of stickers, from my stickers to, you know, Odious stickers, which Odious himself has signed off on, to custom stickers. We just went into a plug for my sticker swap, by the way. The custom stickers. I got stacks of stickers, guys. Prime to the first. I'm pretty sure I got some coming from you. He's been doing the sticker swap tag. Like, come on, guys. I got plenty of stuff to give out. Just want a little bit of love from you guys back for the cost of a stamp. This
is pretty funny. MCU watched this 2 days ago. His final boss said. So, hey, guys, real quick. We just hit 20. We're down to 19 again. We just hit 20 people in here. That's the most we've had so far. So, again, just want to appreciate everybody who's in here on their Saturday night. Thank you guys very much. Mike and I really enjoy doing these. You know, I think we'd like to do them more, but, you know, he's got a bunch lined up with a bunch of really great artists that I'm looking forward to seeing, but it's just a time commitment thing at this point. So we're going to he and I are going to try to do these monthly. Next month is probably going to be a challenge. For those who don't know, my wife is pregnant right now, and she's about 6 months pregnant. So I have, you know, a bunch of things that I need to make sure are happening at home that kind of prevent me from doing more of these. But I'm really looking forward to seeing what Mike's got cooking up with these other diorama artists.
Yeah, absolutely. And what's probably going to happen is me and VASCO I consider us kind of a team or a team. So if you saw like the schedule I put out, it's going to treat it like kind of a football schedule. It's going to be home and away games. So maybe High School Creations or VASCO, and then, you know, the month that he's on, whoever is coming on as a guest will be us three, either on his channel or my channel. So I try to make sure it's clear. I don't want to make it complicated, but trying to share the love across the channels, just to, you know, help like what we talked about, right? Grow together. So
exactly.
Just DM us and ask, right? For those that really care about the content, we're always going to want to talk to you. So We'll try to make it unconfusing, but that's the plan. I want VASCO in on it. It's kind of we talked about it. This is a concept we both have come up with. And a lot of the stuff you see is shared, just discussion on how to make this work. So it's us working behind the scenes to make all this possible. So,
and I just want to say thanks to everyone who's saying congrats on my wife's pregnancy. Also, we already have, this is number 2 for us. So Star Marvel said it's about to get wild. It's already wild, but it is going to get more wild. But we're looking forward to it. And this, we'll have one of each, boy and a girl. So I'm pretty pumped about it. We have a girl now. We're expecting a boy. It's going to be. Yeah. And Mike, you have one of each too, right?
Yeah, I got the set, dude. And I thought those first couple of months is fine, but when the second one gets to walking and the other one is like getting right out of diapers, dude, all hell is breaking loose in the house right now. Like, I don't know how I get out here to do this stuff because every other hour or minute, like, I don't know where it goes. Like, so you got a lot to look forward to.
Thank you, man. Yeah, I'm excited. That's what it's all about. And you know, we just crossed 20, so we're at 21 now. People in here. Thank you guys so much. Like, we really didn't know what to expect coming over here from Instagram. I think we both enjoyed doing the lives on Instagram, but I think we feel like we get a better format here. As you guys can see, you know, you can see both of us at the same time. We have like a little bit of some design work that Mike did to make this look a little bit more professional. And actually what we're going to get into next will be some screen share stuff. So we're going to look at some toy photography. And, you know, it was kind of funny, Mike, I hope you don't mind me saying this, but when we do these lives, sometimes Mike and I beforehand will do like especially when we're doing something new, like the YouTube live, we'll do like a test run the night before. So last night we were talking, trying to get ready for this, and I was telling him, I was like, I want us to each kind of pick out some of our favorite ACBA style photos from each of our pages. Like, I'll talk about yours, you'll talk about mine. And he said to me, man, I don't really have that many ACBA photos on my page. And I was like, yeah, you do. Yeah, you definitely do. So he is being very humble about the skills that he has in the toy photography department. But I'm going to show you guys some of his stuff, which I think is incredible. And so I guess I'll go first, Mike, since I just started it off with that. And I'm going to go first my favorite one that you have, which is of some alien stuff. So hold on 1 second. Just got to get my screen share.
I will say the reason why I think that is because out of those one or two, the percentage of the number of photos to what I feel may be worth posting is such a low number. It's like 1%. Like, I have thousands from this one setup. Thousands is probably too much. Hundreds of pictures from this one setup, and you know, only this one comes out, and so that's why I say that. And two is the time, but I would agree. I like this picture quite a bit, actually. And you can tell the ones that I'm a huge fan of, like aliens, have struck fear in me since I was a kid, and now that I'm old enough to understand them and appreciate the art from H.H. Geiger to, you know, just the films to just aliens themselves, like, I love these figures from NECA, and I think you can kind of tell from these photos.
Well, to me, there's first of all, the only stuff that I know about photography are just things that I've learned pretty much from the toy photography stuff, and I feel like I have a long way to go. So me commenting on this is more of an amateur kind of perspective, like a hopeful amateur. So, but that being said, like, the lighting on this is crazy, man. Like, I mean, look at all the amazing kind of stuff that you have going on here. I as soon as I saw this, this was one of the first things I thought of when you said that yesterday, that, you know, you didn't feel like you had a lot of ACBA, and I was like, I saw those alien pictures and your sci-fi pictures, and I thought they were incredible. So this was one I wanted to call out, and maybe you can kind of walk us through what you did, because I see some light back here. Maybe you could talk us through some of the lighting setup for this.
Right. First, I want to say hello to Dark Clueless. I've mentioned it several times, but He purchased one of my first corner dioramas. Actually, I think it was a trade actually for the Ronin Mezco Wolverine, which is my favorite figure in my collection. I don't even think I opened that figure. So welcome, Darth. And the fact that you're late doesn't matter because you've got so much credit with me. You can show up in the last 5 minutes, and I will still love the fact you're here. So yeah, so lighting. Who did I hear talk about? I'm no when I talk about lighting or even think about lighting, like as you said, we're very amateur. Like I have no respect for my own work. A few pictures come out clear enough where I feel comfortable posting them. But the thing is, I try to throw as much lighting into the picture, a couple of variations of colors up front, background lighting, and maybe some kind of like side lighting to create some kind of rim light. So this is the sci-fi diorama, which I was saying earlier how photogenic it is, especially start throwing in some figures. And what you see that yellow light behind is just clearly a yellow light. It's a yellow light bulb that I have showing through the what do you call the blast doors. There's some built-in LEDs that you'll see on the left-hand side into those the corridor or the columns. So that's creating that kind of side light or that kind of ambient light. And then up front, I have a ring light, very low set, but enough to capture some of those features in the front. With these NECA aliens, there's so much detail, and having that light, even though set to low, you're able to hit all those high points and see those features. And I really love this because, like, this is I feel like this is a scene, even though it's not. Like thinking back to Aliens 3. Like where you see a bunch of these aliens, like this is the scene I remember, like them just down cowering with some low lights and kind of just that snarling type thing. I wish I could have got some water effects or some drool in there, but this is a happy accident, really. I'm just shooting pictures. I do shoot with a DSLR, a Sony A6000. It's a mirrorless camera. I think on this one I was using a macro lens. So I was able to get that detail, but it's just messing with that f-stop, right? Trying to create some kind of blur with that second alien and really making sure that first one is very crisp. And like I said before, I'm taking hundreds of pictures of the same shot, and because I'm not very good at it, like only one or two come out. And then it's somewhat hard to pose, and then it's getting down to angle too, right? Like I play with the angle quite a bit on this one.
Yeah.
Anyway, I could keep going, but
were you using a tripod for this, Mike? And by the way, I'm sorry, guys, my cat is in here and she's being super annoying, so I'm trying to like not have her be an issue.
So yes, tripod. So a couple of things that are always a must, right? For when I do a photo shoot. And this may sound completely like, duh, we all do that, but either have fully charged batteries, not just one, or be able to plug in, right? Have a memory card that has been recently reformatted. But you saved all your stuff in reformat, so you have a bunch of space. For me, I take a bunch of pictures, and the last thing I want to do is run through many cards when I have a card available. Tripod, and at least lighting up front, right? So you want to make sure you have all that stuff with you. And then just sit down and chill. I left this diorama up for 2 months almost, and I traded out figures often. And sometimes I would leave them there for a couple of weeks, and I'd walk by, I left a tripod and camera there, and I would say, oh, I like this today, or I just tweak it a little bit and take another picture. This didn't happen just like one shot, right? This isn't a one shot. I wonder, this is, a very long process and stuff just sitting static for a while.
And Mike, one of the things I want to talk about based on what you're just saying is posing. And we all know, like, it's a no-brainer that posing is one of the most important things. Like, aside from the lighting and what you're doing with the camera, if you're not posing it right, it looks like a poorly posed action figure versus what you have here, which looks like a scene from a movie or something like that. So one of the people that I really enjoy following on Instagram is Diamond Figs. And one of the things he told me he does is even before he gets ready to put something in a dio to take a picture of, he'll pose figures on like a table and wait until his pose is perfected before he even puts it in the scene that he wants. He's focusing so much on the posing. And then he's like, all right, now the posing's right. I'm going to put it in the dio. Then I'm going to take pictures of it. That's something that I haven't really done yet, but it's something that I think is a really creative way of doing that, because what it comes down to is you could take a great photo, it could have great lighting, it could be framed properly, but if the posing's bad, it's not going to look good.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one of the things I fall on because or fail really is I will feel like I take a great photo and I'm concentrating on the environment, and then I go back, like I'll go back and review like a couple hundred, and they're either out of focus or there's just a weird thing with one of the hands. It just throws off the entire thing. It's so disappointing because everything else is perfect, right? So the posing game has to be there. And I'm gonna call out a few people here. Recently, like Jay Figs is doing some crazy ass posing. Sonny, 796 Studios has always got terrific posing, but I'm taking inspiration from you guys when I go to pose figures. So.
No, yeah, it's really kind of cool to see the evolution of some of the photos that some of the people on Instagram are posting. Like you can kind of tell if you're paying attention some of the stuff that they're figuring out. And I mean, I just want to get to the point where I feel like my biggest challenge is always lighting. And I also only shoot right now on a phone, Galaxy S10. I'm pretty close to buying a DSLR. But when I shoot my YouTube videos, my videographer uses DSLR, and that sounds fancy. It's my brother. So he comes and he shoots my videos. Then we also take some ACBA photos, and they always look so crisp when he takes them as opposed to when I take them. And so, I think having the right equipment is important, although some of the cameras we have on the phones are pretty good these days, so you can at least start to develop your skills a little. But I feel like I want to graduate to getting a DSLR.
Yeah, it's definitely a game changer. But there are people like Cap Lives, who I believe is taking all his photos with his phone, right? So it comes down to those things, understanding composition and layout, and then your poses, right? Those things can be captured. Yeah, phones today are as good as the DSLRs of the past. So,
and that's the thing. You can change, like there's a pro camera mode on this, and you can change the ISO. You can change all the different settings that I assume you can change in a DSLR. So it definitely is a good place to kind of start to get a grasp of things. But I do feel like sometimes I'll be shooting something and I'll be like, I need this to be a little bit more crisp than it is, and for whatever reason it's not. And I feel like if I get a DSLR, that will hopefully change.
Yeah, definitely. If anything, it bumps up the confidence level, right? Because you're shooting. You don't have a Nerf gun anymore, right? You're going out in the field with a military issued weapon at that point, to kind of do a metaphor there, right? So is your cat attacking?
Yeah, man, she's going after some wires. I'm sorry. I'm good. I don't need her chewing the Ethernet cord and killing the live stream.
So do you see my message actually?
So what I'll do next, maybe if you want to, I can let you just share, or I can share the first photo that you had mentioned you wanted to talk about from my page for a minute, and I can talk through my perspective of setting that up, and we can give you a minute to take a break.
Yeah, I'll just go ahead and do that. I'm going to share real quick, and then I'll just share that one.
Okay. And I'm going to stop this.
Just let me know when we're sharing here.
Well, I know which one you wanted to go to first, so I can just go to my page and share real quick.
Okay.
Yeah, that way, because if you took a break, it'll probably drop off.
Yeah.
It's the Spider-Man one, right, Mike?
Yeah, we can talk about that one.
Okay. this is one I'm excited about. So this one right here.
Yeah, so I spent the day yesterday and this morning, and I actually enlisted my wife to help me because there are a number of that I like, but I thought the cap was 3 until VASCO hit me up later this afternoon. But so choosing 3 from VASCO is very difficult, so I enlisted my wife in helping me, and we both agree, like, just looking at this picture, like, through all of them, this was definitely one of our favorites. Not only is it Spider-Man, which I love, retro Spider-Man figure, the way he's posed, it's the warehouse scene. I love that he's like basically knocked out the goblin. The goblin's under a bunch of rubble, right? Just the angle that this was taken, the lighting, like everything, just it looked great. It's one of my favorites that you shot this year, and this was definitely going to be in my top. So.
Well, Mike, thank you so much for that. So with this shot, it's pretty cool because one of the people that I really admire the most in the ACBA community is Warrior Evans on Instagram. And he's also on Twitter, and he posts an ACBA all the time. And so I had this shot, and I think I sent him the setup, which was originally this shot. So it's the same concept, but it's from a different perspective. And this is the first one I took, and I was kind of like, I like this, but I feel like I could do more. I feel like you can tell who this is down here with Spider-Man. Like, I liked his posing and everything, but I was just kind of like, I want more of a focus on the front side of Spider-Man. So I reached out to him on Twitter, and I had kind of taken like several different shots, different angles of this, and I told him that, I thought this was kind of a good start conceptually, but I really wanted to to step it up a little bit. And every time he posts something, I'm always amazed. So I was happy that he was willing to kind of give me some tips. And so originally, when I took this shot, you couldn't see any of the green on Green Goblin's arm, and he told me, like, why don't you try to slide that arm out a little bit more, just so that, it's because it's not in focus. That none of this is in focus. We can all see, like, this is the glider, this is a pumpkin bomb, and that's his arm. But if it was, if the green's not in there, it's just a little bit harder to tell who it is. And obviously he's defeated here with all this stuff on him. And another thing that he mentioned to me that I was pleased to hear, just feedback on this, was, with these props, what I ended up doing was filling the space so that it's pretty much a complete kind of frame. So if I didn't have some of this stuff here, it wouldn't be as complete, but I try to go, so, you've got Spider-Man up here, these crates, all this stuff. And then you've got all this kind of stuff happening here, so, and some windows and the vent for this. And so he mentioned that, he thought one of the best assets of this picture was filling the space, which I was thrilled to hear because I admire all his stuff. And I just thought, like, Spider-Man is my favorite, as he is many Marvel fans. And when that retro Spider-Man figure came out, it was exactly what I wanted. I really liked the body they went with. I really liked the eyes and everything. And so I wanted to try to do something really cool with him. And this is one of my favorite pictures that I ended up taking with him. There's a couple of people in the chat saying that they like the shot. I appreciate that. Just want to see real quick if there's any questions. Sonny S, first thing he hears about is ISO. Are we talking cameras? We are. So I right now shoot only on my phone, my Samsung Galaxy S10e, and I use the Pro mode for something like this photo that you're seeing on the screen. And so in that, you can change like the ISO, which I almost always have on the lowest possible setting, and then I adjust what the lens is doing in terms of like how much light it's letting in. But for this one, I think a lot of the times what I'll try to do is use natural light as much as possible. So for this, it basically the front of the image, I have this big window in the room that I'm in right now. So it was in the middle of the day on a weekend, and I opened all the blinds and kind of let the natural light shine in. And then I highlighted Spider-Man with two handheld LEDs. I had like on each side of him far away. So he's kind of like highlighting and outlining him a little bit, as you can kind of see here. So I was trying a couple different things with lighting, but I really feel like I struggle with that. And so when I talked to Warrior Evans about trying to make this better, he had mentioned that you kind of want to outline the figures sometimes. So, that was something I was trying to do. What's up? I think it's a Nav. He says that Unparalleled sent him here. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name, but I appreciate you joining the live with us. I think we have Mike back, so I'm going to add him back in here.
Yeah, I'm back. Sorry.
Hey, man. That's all right. Let's see. Sonny's talking about lighting. He said he used to shoot only natural light, but it's way better to control the light. Yeah, I think you're definitely right. I think one of the things that's cool, though, obviously we're talking about ACBA right now, but one of the things that I know Mike has played with, and I've done a little bit, is like what I consider the Oilers Workshop sunlight test. So if you take a dio that you just made, you put it outside on a sunny day in direct sunlight, he'll post things. His stuff looks fantastic anyway, but he'll post stuff that looks like it's a real place. I mean, almost every time. And he'll mention that sometimes like he'll just go outside, put his dio down and in the sunlight. And what it does is it allows you to kind of see any imperfections that might be there. So maybe you missed a spot and there's some pink showing through. You would see that in the sunlight. And then also it just really highlights a lot of the different, features of the dial. But obviously with ACBA, you've got, different challenges if you're trying to do like a night scene or you're trying to do different things with lighting.
Yeah, and you guys hear me coming back? Just want to make
sure. Yes, we can.
Oh, and one of the things with lighting that I think is interesting too, especially now with LEDs being more common than incandescent and blah blah blah, it can really throw off colors. Like my paint booth uses LEDs, and a lot of times the paint looks great and it looks flat and flush and there's no cracks. I bring it over to my workstation where I cut stuff up and I see all these imperfections or vice versa. So the sunlight test really just brings stuff out. It puts it in natural light, right, versus the light that we may work under now. Because honestly, a lot of the light we use isn't natural. LEDs put off a different vibe unless you're using like warmer LEDs. But that's the whole reason behind it, right? It's just get those real life, tones.
Definitely.
What's up, man? Or Frank? I don't know if that's. Sorry, I don't know. I recognize the name from Unparalleled streams.
Yeah, it looks like Unparalleled. I think he shared this on YouTube. I tried to look at that real quick while we were doing the live. It looks like we've got a couple people coming over from him sharing that, so we appreciate that. And we have we were in the mid-20s here with people coming, and definitely appreciate that. So I definitely talked through this one kind of completely. So maybe what we can do, Mike, is jump into your next one that I pointed out.
I do want to say a few other things, right? These photos we're showing, every piece of that, except for the Hasbro figures, are items that he's made. The effects, the warehouse, the crates, the props, those are all handmade. And I think that's what I try to do is focus on the things that you were the creator of, except for the figures, along with the great pictures. So just want to call it.
Thanks, Mike. Yeah, and one of the things too that the reason why I made it was kind of backwards. I wanted to make the crates, and then once I had the crates, I said to myself, you need a place to put all this so that you can show it and have fun with pictures and stuff. And so the crates are some of the best. I mean, obviously it has to make sense in the setting of the dial, but are some of the best dial props, I feel like, because you can do stuff like this You can, line them up, stack them up however you want. And there's just so many settings in comic books where there's even in an alleyway, maybe there's some crates on, right outside of a loading dock or whatever it might be. So it was fun to kind of have that progression happen with the crates first and then make the dio.
Absolutely. I mean, it takes up space, right? It adds a touch of realism. There's a tangible thing, not just a figure in a diorama. So, yeah, of course. It looks great. And then they're great looking props, too, right? So.
Thank you, Mike. Yeah. And Mike actually bought some of these from me. That was one of the pieces that he got from me. So that was really cool, to have that happen. So I'm going to jump into the next one of yours, Mike, real quick.
So I don't even know which one this is.
So I picked out a bunch that I really liked. And sorry, guys, you're going to kind of go through and see some of this. So let's go to this one next.
Love this one.
So I always like, I think The Amazing calls it like headcanon, when you take figures that don't typically go together and you decide to like make a shot with them. And I love that. So like obviously we have Popeye and Baby Yoda, Grogu, the child, whatever you want to call him, in one of Mike's signature alleyway dios. And it's the depth of this thing is crazy. I mean, how long was this, Mike? Like, I mean, that looks like it's almost like 30, 40 inches long.
That's two 24-inch dioramas, so it's 4 feet long.
Right. So I mean, and it's beautiful too, because you've got obviously Popeye and Grogu here in focus. You have a nice natural looking shadow on him. You've got this beautiful sunlight coming in from this this window over here, and then you can see there's some natural sunlight coming in on the top too. And all this stuff is out of focus down in the bottom, but you can tell there's all kinds of alleyway type stuff at the end of this shot. And then of course you can see the brickwork and the mortar and this is some of my favorite stuff. This like grime on the walls, right? And one of the things that I found is kind of like funny since I started working on dios, I'll go somewhere and I'll see something like super gross, like a disgusting side of a building, and I'll just be like, that is so cool, I want to like recreate that, and my wife will look at me and she's like, what are you talking about? Like, what do you mean there's dirt on the side of a building? And I'll be like, but it looks so cool, like I would like to recreate that in a dio. But so for me, I love the way, of course the posing is good too, and who doesn't love anything that has Grogu in it? And I just think it's a really nice shot that you had. And this was one of the first ones I went to when I was looking through your page earlier today.
Well, I definitely appreciate all the words of encouragement there and the things that I set up and maybe what I hit right. But it took me several attempts. Like that Popeye figure is amazing. I love it. But it had a hard time standing up in the pose that I wanted. And every time I get the lighting right, like I would wiggle something, because at the table I was on, he'd fall over. So it was very frustrating. But what I try to portray is like, I feel like Popeye isn't really Mando, but he's always kind of the winner of his story. He goes through a lot of shit, gets beat up, and then he comes out in the end. So I was like, oh, he could be portrayed as Mando, and like, he's protecting the kid through this dark alley. And then as far as the alley goes, like I had a commission, and what I like to do with commissions is do a photo session with them and then post them to create a lot of hype, and then get that next the owner who is meant for, say when they get it, that there's all this, I say publicity, but there's all this already acknowledgement about the work, and just really makes, fulfills what they were getting. So with the props and stuff, though, I have a bin that I use out here in the shop, and I just threw everything into this one. There was 4 feet of diorama that I had to basically fill up in this alleyway. So there's, I had like 2 or 3 dumpsters in there. I think there's like a hijack lift in there. There's Lawless Studio pallets back there. There's some of your crates in there. And then as far as lighting, like I hit every angle, right? I think I had 4 lights on this. I had a blue light over here to the right. which you can't really see, but you can see it accented far back on the ground. Had a yellow light coming in, had the ring light up front.
Yep.
And I actually, some of that atmosphere, excuse me, the Red Bull's getting me. The atmosphere, I actually have a fog machine. So there's a door, like a garage door on the right side of this one.
Oh.
And I was pumping some fog through there. The aerosol stuff's a little expensive for me. I have a fog machine, so I just use the fog machine. The thing about the fog machine, though, is you only get like the first 2 shots, and it becomes too smoky. But it still works. So I used the fog machine in this one. And then I actually used the lens. I just used the kit lens with this guy, just make sure it was clear, and then tried to make sure the f-stop was down so I could get that depth of field there, so everything in the background was kind of blurred. There's actually a guy back there shifting through the dumpster, but you don't really see it.
Oh, wow.
But, yeah. Oh. And then you were talking about the grime and stuff. It's weird because, like, now, like, with my wife in the car, we'll creep through some alleyways or, like, the back loading docks of malls. She's like, are we supposed to be back here? This is kind of sketchy. Like, and, you know, we're doing research, but she doesn't get it.
Man, before the pandemic happened, I was on a work trip, and part of what I was doing was shooting video for some basically like B-roll video. And so I was in Savannah, Georgia, and I was in like these really old alleyways, like just because we were walking around the city, and I was just like, oh, let me go check this out. And I have some pictures that I have on my phone from that I haven't gotten to recreate yet. But it's so crazy sometimes when you like walk into something like truly authentic like that. There's like 30 electrical boxes that look like they're probably not wired correctly, and bricks and like dirt and like who knows how old cobblestone road. It's just like the perfect kind of inspiration for what we're trying to do.
Absolutely. Like, I live not too far from one of the oldest cities in the United States, downtown Charleston.
Yeah.
There is so much dirt and grime and old roads, dude. It's perfect for me to just go down there, take pictures, and get inspiration. It's fun.
Jay's Figs wants to know if the guy in the background is Pam.
No, he didn't have Uggs on.
No Uggs. No, but this is definitely something that I feel like you really did well and fully enjoyed. I really think that you've got some legit photography skills. And Mike, I don't know if you're in the ACBA group, but you should be posting in there, man. If you're not, like, you really should.
I guess from you, I don't really know anybody. So I like to just have, my kind of circle, and I don't really branch out unless I'm invited into things. So maybe one day. I did get into Diorama Creators. Is it Creators?
Yeah. Are you in Structure?
Structure, yeah. Over on Facebook, finally. I made one post, and I've been in there for like a year. But,
I know you have your hands full with your commission list, but posting this in ACBA or Structure or Diorama Creators on Facebook, all it's going to do is get you exposure, because even if you don't post your IG in there, people might comment and say, where did you get that diorama? Are you on Instagram? I want to follow you, whatever. So you can gain, like some potential followers or customers there just by posting something cool. And really what I wanted to talk about with this is, you mentioned that there's some Lawless Studios props back there. In my opinion, Ron at Lawless Studios is one of the best at posting really awesome pictures of his stuff. Like, he, in my mind, is a master of using photography to showcase how epic his dioramas are, which is a very important skill. Because if you made a really great diorama, but it's lit horribly and shot horribly, it's not going to look as good as it should. So one of the things that I've tried to do since I became aware of him is educate myself based on what he does. What angles does he use? What kind of, how is he using work in progress shots? How is he posting his final dioramas? Like, what kind of stuff can I pick up on from how he's posting this stuff on Instagram? Because he's one of the masters, in my opinion. Like, he's just And he's such a nice guy too. Like anytime you reach out to him, he's very helpful, very kind, and you want to, support those kind of people. So anytime I get a chance, I like to tell people, and I don't have to tell people because he has so many followers, but he's somebody that is really in tune with how to properly market the products that he's selling, which are these dioramas. And I think that, we could all learn, a great deal from just looking at his Instagram feed.
Absolutely. Absolutely. He doesn't have to do that because this work speaks for him, right? He doesn't have to go out there and market. He doesn't have to join groups. Like his work speaks for itself. And one picture that recently came up that I was like, I really wanted to say something, but I didn't know how to say it, was work in progress shot for his forget what the gates are called, but the Japanese gates. But he used his own room in his photography to capture the door opening up to make it look like it was a part of the diorama with the lighting. And I just thought that was just incredible. Like when I do my shots, it's just like my dirty ass bench with my work in progress shots, right? That's just me. That's how mine are going to come across. But like his are, everything is just perfection, I feel like.
And it's we put so much effort into making the dio that I feel like the same amount of effort is deserved for photographing it properly. So one of the simple things that I've done recently, you'll see a white background a lot on my recent pictures, like especially the ones that just showcase the dioramas finished. And all I'm doing is I get four pieces of the dollar store project foam, the white project foam, and I make like a temporary shadow box, and I put the dio inside it, and I take pictures. And when you do it that way, the lighting reflects off of the white on all four sides, and I don't even put a top on it. So it's back, bottom, two sides, dio in the middle. And it's crazy how much better the photos are when you do that, and it makes the person focus on the dio, not like what's hanging up in the background of this person's workshop, even if it's not in focus, which can still be cool. Like it can still be cool to have those kind of shots, especially like work in progress stuff. But I feel like for me, like I want, when it's a finished product, I want it to look like, here's what I actually made. Like, so you guys can focus on what I made, and hopefully you like it.
You say stuff hanging in the background, and the majority of mine, I have a hanging fly sticky paper. And I don't know if you guys see it. You probably do, but that's just, it happens to be over my work desk.
No, and one of the things that is cool though, and I think it's interesting to certain people in the community who enjoy the dio process, is what is your workshop like? And I know you've shown yours a little bit in in some live streams and things like that, and like I said, I want to come and see yours in person someday because I know it's legit. Mike has actually been in my workshop. There was one time that he came to pick up a dio piece from me, and it wasn't finished yet. Like it's not what it looks like now, but he got a chance for a few minutes to like come in and see the workshop. And hopefully, like I said before, we'll get to a point where the two of us may be able to do maybe some live or recorded videos where we're actually like in person together and talking about things, or doing builds together, or even just like, who knows, like come up with some new ideas that we haven't seen before that maybe we think you guys would be interested in.
Yeah, that's a win. That's not a if. That's just a win.
It's going to happen. Yeah. Yeah. So do you, okay, so we went through a few. Do you want to do like maybe one more each, and then maybe we can get into, I think we had talked about potential like figures we're anticipating this upcoming year.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so I'm going to go back. You may have to remind me, Mike. I don't know what the next one was you wanted to talk about on my end.
Yeah, so I'll give you a date on it because I have it saved. It says 17 weeks ago. It was the bird's eye view from the rafters. It's your ninja on in the dojo on that beam. I think this was an Awesome Rose dio.
Let's see. Yeah, almost there. There it is. And I'm gonna let you talk through your part on this for a sec. I'll be right back.
Yeah. So one of the things that is obviously been said, but excuse me, this is a DTOF diorama, so it can be somewhat hard to get that depth of field, but is able to be accomplished here with the beam that he puts in here. So this is only what, 14, under 14 inches tall, but he's still able to get that real, like, I don't know. This shot was great, right? So you got some kind of the blur, you got the up front. It's very crisp. The lighting's good. A lot of the same things with the previous photo. Just the overall composition was good, right? I don't even know if Deadpool even sees the guy up there, so he's getting one over on Deadpool. I just thought the posing was great. Just the overall composition was good, and the camera angle was good. He's got what looks to be somewhat tilted. Again, I'm very much an amateur. I just overall like the photo, and my wife agreed. So this is an awesome diorama. We know that he put this one together, and then he's got some of that backlighting behind his windows that he showed off too, which is just excellent. I really like how he does the flooring on these dojos too, right? He does a lot of research. I think he shared this out in one of his stories, is he wants to make sure he does those mats accurately, right? So he does a lot of research behind the scenes to make sure that he's building this to what would actually be a legit dojo. So he does a lot of work to make sure there's some accuracy to his dioramas, which is amazing. And these articulated icon ninjas are so badass. I don't have any of the gray ones. I have some of the brown ones, but some of these poses, and he's able to get this up here like this, just is awesome. I think he's using his phone. So again, like the level of the quality of a photo you can get with the phone these days is just amazing. I think he's using his pro mode, but you get that lighting up front on the figure. Oh man, welcome back. Get that lighting up front on the figure, and then you get some shadowing in the back, right? And then you just get that that feel that he's just about to pounce on Deadpool.
Yeah.
Overall, figure.
No, I heard some of what you were saying, and the fact that this is a DTOF dial. I think a lot of times people think DTOF dials are not that big, because it's 14 inches by 13 usually, and sometimes it could be, if you want it to be a tight fit, it could be 15 inches tall. This is 14 inches tall. And so the reason I took this photo was because the person that commissioned the dial it was important to him that we had rafters in the top, so you can see that we've got, like, this is the main part of the rafters, then there's along the sides and along the back, and these are two different planes on purpose. But so I wanted him to see, because what I do is when someone sends me, we're working on a commission with somebody, every step of the way they're getting progress pics from me. So at the end, I sent it to him and I said, this is what you told me you wanted, was to be able to put ninjas up in the top here like they're going to attack somebody. And so I wanted him to see that you can actually fully contain this shot, even in a DTOF dial, based on the way this diorama was configured. So it was important to me to show the client, you said you wanted to be able to do this, you can do it. And I hope you think that, this is going to fit your needs. And ultimately, I was very grateful that he was very excited about the way this looked.
Yeah, it's always great and very feeling whenever you get that kind of feedback from the client. It's just, that's what you do it for, right? And to get those comments back, it helps motivate you and just reaffirms with you that you're doing the right things.
Definitely, yeah. And it's just so much fun because we're talking about toy photography. It's fun building the dioramas, but in my mind, like, the entire time that I'm building it, I'm like envisioning the pictures I'm going to be able to take with it at the end. So once I get to the point where I can actually take those photos, I'm so excited when somebody says something funny.
I was going through some of the posts over on Instagram, and I ran across Sonny's.
Oh yeah, the Crown Royal. Yeah. No, but we said it a couple of times, but it really just deserves to be repeated. Thank you guys so much, because we've had a consistent like 20 plus people in here, and that's because you guys have shared this. Like during this, I've tried to take a minute and kind of like and add stuff to my story that people are sharing, and it's just really cool. And it goes back to what we were talking about earlier about the community and how everyone is kind of trying to promote everyone else, and it just makes it a lot of fun when you feel like people are enjoying what you're doing, and when you can return the favor and kind of try to promote their stuff too.
Well, absolutely. And I love seeing the same people that we always converse with here, right? Same people that are in some of the lives that we attend, some that are routine or repeat customers, regulars in some of our lives. So it's cool that we know you guys and got to know you guys through this COVID pandemic thing. So it's cool.
Absolutely. All right, so let's go through one more. I'm going to do one more of yours, Mike, and then maybe we can get into the anticipated figures. And I know we're going to have a bunch of people chiming in the comments, so maybe that part of it can be a little bit more interactive than what we've done on the toy photography piece.
Yeah, I do want to give Sean over. He gave me props for faking it till I make it while you were gone. He knew I was struggling there. He smelled some blood in the water. But thank you for the uplifting comments. I tried my best.
You do a fantastic job, man. So the next one I want to show, I like all of these that you guys are seeing in the messages I have from Mike, but this is one that I actually remember. This is way before Mike and I really knew each other. I was aware of his work. I think I knew that he was in South Carolina, and I knew that he was like a really good dio artist. But I remember, because I love Dragon Ball and I love Dragon Ball Z, I remember seeing this piece and thinking, incredible detail. I love these figures. I don't have these two. I have the old school, actually I'll show you real quick. I have the old school from 2002, 2003. I think they're Irwin toys, Goku and Krillin. I had these when I was a kid. And I have these, but I don't have the SH Figure Arts ones. Kind of made the decision that I was just going to go in on DBZ stuff for that, just because there's so much. But so I remember being drawn to your photos because I saw Goku and Krillin, which I thought were great, but then seeing the details that you had in the dio, and I was just blown away because it's like a ruins kind of temple setup that you have here. And I always like when it's called for in certain cases where you have sort of, your normal, most photos have like your normal, I don't know what you would angle. And then like when you kind of have like the alternate kind of angle here where it's not set up where it's level with the ground, I always find that interesting when it makes sense. And here I really thought it made sense. And I really thought it was cool because I don't know what's back here, but it looks menacing. Like these two are approaching it with caution. And I just thought it was really, really cool. So I wanted to call it out.
Yeah, so talking about it a little bit, I started getting the Dragon Ball figures early 2020, late 2019. It took me time to find them. And I kind of wanted to build the story because I got Bulma, I got Krillin, and I got Goku. And some pictures prior to this, posts prior to this, like I did some with Krillin and Bulma, some outdoor scenes. And I kind of wanted to follow a series of, what they were doing then, and that was finding all the Dragon Balls. And that was kind of what Dragon Ball was about then. It wasn't about the fighting, right? There was some of that, but it was really the hunt for Dragon Balls, and I wanted to capture that here. So that's why I built the temple. That's the stone statue back there, which is a stone statue with some ACBA like cotton to present fog or smoke, and then in his hand, if you actually flip through some of the photos, is an actual Dragon Ball that comes with the figures. Oh, maybe not in this one.
It's just these two, but this lets you see the setup.
But where they're like reaching up and Goku's going after it, blah blah blah. And there's some playful stuff, and yeah. So I was shooting this, and the angle was unintentional. It was just what filled the I guess the frame at that point. But it kind of makes sense because it's kind of an eerie thing. They see this green glow against this stone. They're just seeing the Dragon Ball. So I shifted the angle a little bit to try to create that eeriness or off balance, something weird or mysterious here. Again, I just do a bunch of lighting in there. I like the green lighting, got some upfront lighting, rim lighting. And then I got the, with this particular diorama, I added some LED lights with some smoke effect for torches. And I was really excited to get these figures. That was my favorite part was to showcase these figures. And like I said before with the alien NECAs, like it shows, like when you really love the figures you're shooting, it shows through, right? I'm not a great photographer, but I took so many of this set because I love the figures that I forced a decent picture.
Mike, I think you'd be really, just based on how humble you're being, really surprised with the reaction that you would get on some of these photos in ACBA. I think you should be there and like be posting some of this stuff because, in my opinion, again, I'm also a newcomer. This is really incredible stuff. Like these photos we're showing of yours are good. Like they're definitely good. And one other thing I wanted to mention, and it's just kind of Dragon Ball related, is one of the coolest things about Dragon Ball is that as the American audience that watched Dragon Ball Z on Toonami, we got Dragon Ball after we had basically already well established the characters in Dragon Ball Z. So I remember like in the Frieza saga, they go back when Krillin dies and Goku turns Super Saiyan. They go back and they show like all these flashbacks from Goku and Krillin like carrying milk crates around. And I remember being a kid because it was before we got Dragon Ball in English and thinking to myself like, yeah, how did they meet? Like, how do they know each other? Like, why does this relationship matter so much? And so then they gave us the opportunity to go back and see the story where Krillin's relevant, Yamcha's relevant, Tien is a badass that Goku can't beat, Piccolo is amazing, like Master Roshi's incredible. Even like Bulma has a lot more relevancy in that part of the show than she does here. And so it makes the character development really interesting because the way it was created was in a chronological timeline, but the way we got it was here's the future, now go back to the past and understand the development of all these characters. And I, looking back on it now as an adult, really appreciate that I got to see it that way. Similar, I guess, to the way that, even though I know a lot of people don't like the prequels from Star Wars, but it's similar to the way that we got Star Wars. We understood who Darth Vader was first, and then we saw how he developed.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't like the way this Disney, right? You don't like Dragon Ball Super, so it is a great analogy.
And it's kind of cool, it's one of those things, everyone has the things they like. Dragon Ball Z shaped me and shaped my interest in this stuff to a large extent. And so if I hadn't experienced those things as a kid, I probably wouldn't be doing this right now. And that's a fact.
Yeah. 80s cartoons like Transformers, Thundercats, Voltron.
Yep.
Turtles going into the 90s. Like when I come home, even in high school, I'm sitting there watching freaking Toonami. I'm watching, what was the show before Dragon Ball? It was like, where they're in the internet. I don't remember what that was, but then there was that.
I know what you're talking about. I can't think of it. Maybe someone in the chat can. I know what you're talking about.
Gundam Wing.
Gundam, yeah. All the different.
My drawing style, the way my brain thought about drawing, right? And that's made my artistic, like that was my roots, my artistic abilities day, right? So yeah, that shaped us.
So Jay's Figs is asking if I'm saying Dragon Ball Super is the best. I've only seen up to the point where Goku goes what the heck is it called? The God transformation where he has the red hair. And I think I saw maybe like the first part of Super Saiyan Blue. Reboot. Detour Custom said it. Reboot. That was the show you were talking about, Mike.
Oh yeah, I love Reboot.
But no, I can't say that I dislike Dragon Ball Super. I haven't seen enough of it. But I understand the reasons that Dragon Ball Super happened for an economic standpoint. And so I'm of the mindset that, and this is just my opinion, that Dragon Ball Z was Akira Toriyama's prime and Dragon Ball Z, and that Dragon Ball Super is an extension of something that happened for reasons that were not necessarily story driven. That's all I'll say about it.
I still love it. Super is how I wanted to see them drawn, because what I was very disappointing, even though the story was great, is every other episode of Dragon Ball would be terribly drawn, right? And they deserve better than that. And then Super, we get that. We get great drawings. There is story. The effects are off. Dude, you got to watch Super. Like,
I don't disagree with you much, but I will disagree with you. I think the art is horrible in Super compared to Dragon Ball Z. What? Everybody is like this slender, really weird body type. Like Vegeta looks like he lost like 60 pounds of muscle from Dragon Ball Z. And so it's like really odd to me that art decisions that they made. Obviously, I understand how it progressed from Dragon Ball. You start to see it like in the Namek saga when Goku turned Super Saiyan. You start to see some different ways they draw the muscle definition. And then in the Android saga, Cell saga, and Majin Buu, it's completely different. And then I feel like we got a sincere regression in the way that they drew things in Super.
So I would agree with that. What I really mean is just the level of cleanliness of the actual drawings themselves, right? They were terrible in some episodes in Z. Like it was like, I could draw that. Can I come draw for you? Like,
well, there are like, but the thing is, Mike, knowing the time frames that these things were developed, I don't know for a fact, but I'm willing to bet that most of the stuff that was done in Z and Dragon Ball is actually hand drawn. And the Super stuff is like Adobe Illustrator and like all these other things.
Yeah.
So I always have an appreciation for things that are actually hand drawn, like Akira. You know, that anime is literally, I mean, I don't know the full production of it, but from what I understand, this is hand drawn artwork that's incredible. And so if you're gonna do something that is less than hand drawn, it's really got to stand up, in my opinion, to at least the character. I don't understand the changing of even subtle changing of character designs. I don't like that, and that's just my opinion.
It grew on me. And then the last thing we should say about this is, so you don't think drawing on a tablet digitally is the same as drawing on paper?
No, it's not that it's not the drawing, it's the animation that goes into it. So the fact that you have to draw every frame versus there's from, again, my limited education, there are certain things that make drawing digitally for animation more efficient, and I understand cost effective than doing it by hand. But if you told me I had to draw this team of artists had to draw these 100 frames to make like this, I don't know, 10-second, 20-second clip happen, I appreciate that more than the digital part of it.
Yeah.
Especially in the world that we live in, where even like Disney movies are 3D animated and they're not drawn as much anymore.
Yeah, there's an appreciation for true animation, not the 3D CG stuff. Yeah, you want to talk about one more photo? What time is it?
It's 11:09. Yeah, on the East Coast at least. So yeah, we can talk about one more. Did you want to do one of the ones that you had called out for me?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't like talking about myself much.
All right, I don't. You're gonna have to remind me what the other ones were that
Yeah,
you wanted to.
it's the X-Men one. I believe this is the
Oh
diorama
yeah,
with Magneto, and then Wolverine's like coming at him with Rogue and Cyclops. Excuse me, Cyclops and Jean Grey.
yeah. I'll let you go first, and then I'll kind of explain it.
Yeah, again, like he's just hitting everything that just captures my attention. You know, I'm not really great at reviewing photos, but as simplistic as my mind is, I see this. I see Magneto kind of blurry in the front. I see Wolverine coming at him. I'm like, oh shit. Then I see the team behind him, right?
Yeah.
Um, and then you got the diorama that surrounds it, which looks legit, right? I really like how you're coming in a little bit on the photo, so you have some of the wall there, so you feel like you get kind of a peek around a corner, right? And then I think the posing's on point, right? Cyclops is ready to blast that mofo. You know, the cape here is a static cape, but with this position, it looks like it's flowing over his arm with the pose that you have, so it looks natural. And overall, just a great photo. The lighting's good, right? You can see the characters all the way in the back, and even up front. So it was like a great photo.
Thank you, Mike. Yeah, the this picture, it was kind of funny because this back here is a black curtain. It's actually the tablecloth that I use for my trade shows when I do like trade shows, and I felt like, you know, I felt like I wanted to try to get an effect like you couldn't see what was in the shadows behind there.
Mm-hmm.
But this, for whatever reason, this dio to me was very difficult to take pictures of the way that I wanted to. This was one of the ones that I was happy with, and I'm glad you like it too. But you know, I think, and this is the old Rogue too, of course, before the retro one came out. But I definitely, anytime I get to do anything with the X-Men, I always love it. Like, it's just, I love the fact that I've been able to get these X-Men figures, and they're just so colorful. And this dio is all grayscale. So it's like you said before, the point of the picture is to focus on the photos, and the diorama is just like kind of the backdrop. Al Figures talks about that a lot. And when you have the X-Men and they're so colorful, it really accentuates that point that like we're focusing on the figures, and the dioramas are just helping them make sense in terms of the scene.
Yeah. Is that the what pack was that? Is that the Amazon?
Yep, the 3-pack. I know you had some problems with that Magneto.
Yeah, but you can't tell from the back. It was really just the legs and the face. Yeah, I never bought that one actually.
The 3-pack
AOA, which we're getting into the next thing. Hoping that AOA Mafex really kills it.
Are they doing that? I didn't even see that.
There's an AOA Magneto, which basically looks like, you know, the Jim Lee style.
Oh, okay.
Except for the dreads or the long hair, whatever we're gonna call it.
Oh, okay. No, I did see that actually. I just wasn't thinking of it. So yeah, I guess we can get into that next part of this, which is just talking about things we're anticipating for 2021. And I kind of feel like before we even get into that, I feel like last year was so crazy that I'm still like almost processing, because there's a lot of things I didn't get last year that I still want to get, that I'm still almost processing, like this stuff from 2020 I want to get my hands on before I even think about necessarily like upcoming pre-orders and things like that.
Yeah, I agree. I'm looking at some of this chat over here about Mezco, and Frankie had picked up the 2-pack zombies, which I've done the same thing. They're great light background bodies. They're Joker bodies, so the articulation sucks, but you can get some heads on them. A lot of people were selling like the Punisher heads and the Ash heads. So I picked up some of those to go on the bodies and then use different hands. So I think that's, yeah, I think I picked them up for like 60, but I think they're a little more expensive than that now. But yeah, that that older Joker body kind of is terrible. I think they've done some things with the elbows on the newer ones, so they say that gets better range. But I wish they'd just retire that Joker body and stop using it.
Unparalleled talks about that a lot, right? With the Joker body, I feel like I don't have any Mezco, so like I don't know firsthand what that's like. But I've heard a lot about that.
Yeah, I mean it's okay for a static figure, but when you're wanting to pose up, like I will say that, like the John Wick figure, I enjoy it because it looks good, but there's no articulation there. There are some weird things with the suit, which I fixed by making it a Neo, but they just got to quit using that. It seems like, I don't know, as much love they put into the Gomez figures, and Jay was saying this, like the Gomez bodies are awesome. Like, why don't they use that buck for a lot of their, more licensed products? That would make sense.
Yeah. No, I don't know anything about like what goes into that stuff. Jay's Figs asked that I bring up a particular photo of the Joker, so I'm gonna do that. And actually, when I get to it, you guys will see it's actually a photo that I didn't take. It's a customer photo from after they received the diorama, which is always like a very distinct kind of joy, I feel like, for someone who does dioramas. Here it is. I think this is the one that he was talking about. So this picture here is, so I have a very good friend of mine from college who commissioned this diorama, and it was for a student that he was tutoring at the time. So like, I think 12, 13-year-old kid that he was tutoring for one of the subjects. I can't remember if it was like math or science or what it was. But he loved, Heath Ledger's Joker. And so he commissioned this diorama from me. And he also bought the NECA Heath Ledger figure. So it was a package deal. It was the figure and the diorama. And so this photo is actually a photo that was taken by that person who got this diorama as a gift from my friend. So it was kind of like this really cool thing for me when this, especially a younger kind of person in the community, liked the diorama enough, had pictures, and he reached out and said, "Would you post this? I would love if you would post this. I love the diorama." And so I did. And I think I said, like, we love getting, and I tagged him here if anyone wants to check his page out. But he really, really seemed to like the diorama. And so anytime you see that as somebody who created something for a specific person, it's just an incredible feeling.
Yeah, most definitely. That's awesome. I love the black and white. I've considered doing some black and whites, and I'm like, I don't know anything about this, so I've cheated away from it. But that looks dope. Are the cards in there? Yeah, that's awesome.
Oh yeah, I actually ordered those off of eBay and included them as like a prop for him. I think it was from like a Chinese seller on eBay, and I got them pretty quick actually. And this was a long time ago. I think this is like September 2019, if I'm remembering correctly. And so I included those in there, and so yeah, he enjoyed taking some photos with it.
You know what's interesting is, and I just actually reached out to one person in particular. Toy Pix has done a bunch of photos, and he always tags my diorama. So it's really humbling to see when people always, like, if they take a photo, they're going to tag you in it. Yep. You're the creator for the diorama. And he's done some great photos since he's bought that. And I have a lot of white space on my wall. So I reached out to him and was like, hey, you do prints? And he was like, I don't. And I was like, well, I want to put some diorama or pictures up from you using the dioramas, and these are the ones, right? Most recently, was like the Storm, and then like a Gimli X-Men style Hasbro, and then he recently did not Robot. What is his name? Why am I blanking? Who's the main guy in G.I. Joe? What's the dude's name?
Duke.
Duke, yeah. Oh. Yeah, awesome shot with Duke, and I was like, dude, I want to hang these in my shop, and then I was like, I want more from other people who has my diorama that does photos So I'm going to go ahead and lay out a statement here. If I've ever sold you a diorama and you have pictures, I want those pictures. I'm going to put them up in my shop, and I'm going to reach out to people individually too. But I think it'd be dope to have a lot of cool shots from the community using like work that, I've done for them just as a showcase, and kind of like, not really symbolic, but just a reminder that there are people that love my work out there, or love our work, right? If we're going to just take this, elevate ourselves a little bit here instead of being so individualized. But
and Mike, that goes back to a point that I think is really important, and I don't know the exact quote, so I won't I'll paraphrase, but basically I think it's just a quote about art and the fact that even if you only have if you put out art, there's at least one person that you're not aware of that admires what you're doing, and so if you're sharing it somehow publicly. And so one of the things that I've started doing is, just because I think we all need this positivity, especially if you're creating things and you're hoping that people are enjoying it. I just have an album saved on my phone of nice things that people have said about some of my stuff, just in case I feel like I ever need to go back and get some kind of reassurance, or look back and say oh yeah, people enjoy this, or it can motivate you. But I think we all, as human beings, enjoy positive reinforcement. So if somebody takes the time to tell me that they like their stuff, or they like my stuff, I'm going to screenshot it and just save it in this folder. And then maybe at some point later on, I'll go back and look at it and be like, that was really cool that they said that, or whatever. And just help, motivate myself moving forward, that I should keep making dios, and that I should, keep enjoying what I'm doing, because other people who may be watching that I'm not aware of maybe like it too.
Yeah, and I'll get into something real quick, because this is kind of the similar lines, right? And it's about motivation and kind of what you were saying. It can be somewhat discouraging, especially with social media. Everybody puts themselves, and I've touched on this a little bit before, in a positive light. And as a creator, sometimes that can get to you. You might not have something to post, but it feels like people are always posting, and you can get discouraged easily. And having that positive motivation just reminds you that, hey, you are in this. It becomes difficult, and especially when you see post after post after post of excellent work from the community, right? It makes you reevaluate, and then those moments in time that you're capturing just help remind you that you're on the right track. And
and it can be something as simple as I think I said, if anyone had a chance to watch the live that I did with Al Figures on Instagram maybe a month ago, I talked about the fact that for me, pretty much every diorama, there's a point in the diorama where I'm it's like a crossroads kind of thing where I'm unsure of it, and I'm is this going to turn out the way I want it to? And for me, it's no matter what, if it's a commission especially, I'm not going to give it to the customer until I'm satisfied with it. That's number one. Yep. But there's just this second guessing that can happen on things. And so in those moments, to me, sometimes it's valuable to go back and look and be oh, so-and-so that I really admire said this, and so I should remember that, or, whatever. I just think it's just a small thing that I kind of try to do to keep myself, motivated in any kind of situation where I'm feeling like I'm doubting what I'm doing, or I'm thinking something's not as good as it should be.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm with you on that. And Star Marvel was talking about the rise of social media. You forget, and you can get into it, and you can get sucked in, right? If you're not paying attention, and you get sucked into all the posts versus forgetting it's just social media. And it's easy to do. I mean, that's what it's there designed to do by these, bigger companies. So you just got to remind yourself how to get sucked into it.
Yeah, and J Figs makes a good point. It's not just people you admire. It's anybody that wants to give you any sort of positive comment. I appreciate that always, because you could just scroll, you could like something that I do and just scroll past it without saying anything. But to take a minute to inject some positivity into my day by saying you like something, that's worthwhile. And I think that, you know, that's something that's that I try to do for people too. If I see something I like, I try to comment on it, because that person won't know if you don't say it.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm sure people get tired of me doing a little fire and the 100, but that's my way of showing more than the heart, right? Because people can heart all day long. Taking that extra time to do a comment, especially on something that you really enjoy, or you were like mind blown by it, like, yeah, I think that's meaningful.
Yeah, and you know, it just goes back to trying to be a part of that community, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Like Jay said, just hitting the heart isn't nowadays. It's just not enough, right? In my opinion, because I guess we're desensitized to it a little bit, right? Especially those that are, you know, actively on social media. But it presents problems and, you know, challenges, but it's also got the good qualities. And I guess, you know, you just got to remind yourself of, you know, the good side of it.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely. So I guess like we kind of teased it earlier and we didn't get into it yet. Just I'm gonna stop sharing my screen because I don't have anything to share regarding this, but just kind of the figures that we're like most anticipating coming up this year. And we had, it's kind of a two-part thing. Figures we're anticipating, then we also said like collection updates. And I know you, I feel like you get so many cool things. Maybe you have a little bit more to share than I do, but I got a ton of cool stuff like for Christmas that I'm pumped about to show you guys that I got.
Yeah. Man, for this year, you know, I guess I'll go ahead and start. Hopefully I didn't rush into that. But yeah, there's still a bunch of Mayfec stuff I have on pre-order. Mayfec, so like I'm still waiting on Peter B. Parker. I think he's supposed to ship soon. I'm really ready for that guy. I think he'll go well with my Mayfex. Miles, even though I have, you know, Peter B. Parker and Hasbro form, which is also a killer sculpt. Have the Mayfex AOA Gambit, or not AOA Gambit, AOA Magneto, and also I have Gambit. Patiently waiting those. Hopefully those land. I don't know about Hasbro really. MODOK looks cool. I think Thanos.
Oh yeah. MODOK looks really cool, man, but I haven't pre-ordered him yet because, you know, I was a little bit surprised with the price, but I feel like I need to get him.
Yeah, I have a good contact who I just do dios for, and he gets those shipments from Hasbro and he sends them to me. So most of the Hasbro stuff, like I'm still on top of, but I didn't get the Thanos, the classic. I guess it's classic Thanos. So hopefully I'll be able to pick up that guy, but I think he's already out. Really, anything Black Series, you know, they've been killing it. So I'll pick up anything from them. I don't really know. You know, the newer wave with like Nick Nolte figure, Phil, whatever you say his name. That's pretty exciting. I did just pick up Carl Weathers, whatever, I forget who his name is.
Oh yeah.
I found these in the store. The only thing on the shelf for Hasbro were these two things. And when I find stuff like this, I feel like I'm stealing from somebody. Like I stuff them under my shirt and then run to the checkout. Like, we're the target right now. So,
I feel like everybody in this chat has felt this, but there have been so many times earlier. I've only really been collecting for like 2.5 years as an adult. There have been so many times that I've had something in my hand and I'm like, oh, you can come back to this later. And then I never see it again. And it's at retail price. And then, you know, I won't get it. And so like when you see something, sometimes you're like compelled, like I don't really have a choice. You know, like, I have to get this.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, it's like, I don't know if I want them, but there's nothing else. And I got to buy it, or I'm probably not going to buy it later. So, especially
hey, I just wanted to Real quick, Mike, sorry. I just want to shout out my brother-in-law, Nick. He's the one I made the Mando dio for at the end of last year. He's heading out, and I just wanted to say thanks to him for joining us. He's a huge Star Wars fan, and he has a legit Hot Toys collection of like he has Boba Fett and all like the original bounty hunter guys that they had, and then he just got like the original Mandalorian, not in the best car armor, I think for Christmas this year. So just pretty cool to. I always like anytime I go see him, I'm always like, let's go check out the Sideshow Hot Toys collection because it looks really legit.
Yeah, I'm a Hot Toys fan. The price is a little jarring, but coming around. But yeah, dude, you appreciate any kind of collection like that because the amount of detail in a Hot Toys.
Oh yeah. Also the figure report. I don't think I saw that he was in here before, so thank you for joining. He said he's listening to us on his way home. That's really cool.
Be safe, Mike. Don't. I saw you earlier live, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, outside of those, there are some animated turtle stuff coming out from NECA. Like the Rat King looks pretty dope.
Yeah.
Frog 4-pack coming out. I really said I was done after I got Splinter. The figure report hooked me up with Splinter, so I rekindled that love, and I'm back in it. So if I see them, I'm gonna buy them. Obviously, GI Joes is hot. I'm not actually looking for them, but I have been able to manage to get a few Vipers on order as well as a Fireflies from the community. So thank you guys. After talking a lot of mad shit over on what was it, Toy Amigos a couple weeks ago. Yeah, so I appreciate
you were really down on Joe's on that podcast.
I was serious, dude. I wasn't going to Target. Like, it was frustrating how Hasbro hasn't picked up on the issue. Like, they don't care.
Yeah. It's kind of hard too because I forget who brought it up on that show. But it's like the segmented teams of Hasbro because we saw what the Marvel Legends team did with the feedback they got on the Target exclusives with the Rogue and the Gambit. Seemed like those were a lot more accessible, and then you have like the GI Joe team where it doesn't seem like that same, for whatever reason, whether it's on their end or somewhere in between, it doesn't seem like that same thing is happening.
Yeah, totally agree. And then whatever it is, hope they figure it out. It drives a lot of hype, but I still think if they'd put the number of figures out, the hype would still be there. The figures are great, right? They don't have to cause a shortage for this figure to be great. They can make a lot of money because, as many people has pointed out, they own the license. There's a much bigger margin for these toys.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. They don't have to pay anybody. They don't have to pay anybody else. So, so you mentioned a couple that I think are really cool. Like the MODOK is one I didn't pre-order, but I'm like really going to think about whenever it comes. I forget when it comes out. But I did pre-order the Thanos. I think I thought he was going to be bigger than the Walmart exclusive one. And then I saw some reviewers that got him already. He didn't look like that much bigger. So I'm like slightly disappointed on that because I feel like the Walmart exclusive one was a little bit smaller than I wanted him to be. But I overall like the look of him better, more of like a classic look. And so I am excited to kind of get him, even though he doesn't seem like he's really that different in terms of articulation. So there's that. And then I'm going to kind of mention something that's 2021, but go back to something that's 2020. So I mentioned the Hush Batman. So I think I mentioned it. So it's kind of both. So my birthday is coming up this week. And I am kind of waiting to see if somebody got me the blue Hush Batman because that's the one I wanted originally when he came out, mostly because I already have this version that is the black and gray version. I know it's not the same version of Batman, but so I thought maybe if I got the blue and gray, it would be cool to have like a black and gray or blue and gray, but also because I really like that Bruce Wayne head sculpt, and I don't have a Bruce Wayne head sculpt aside from that. And I also like the more slender kind of, not that he's super slender, but more slender than that figure kind of look. So the black and gray version looks really cool. And if he came with the Bruce Wayne head, I would just get that version. But I think what I'm going to do is just go with the blue and gray version and get the head sculpt and stuff. But so there is a version coming out in 2021, but I'm probably going to look to get the 2020 version if I don't get it for my birthday.
I think it's out.
Yeah, I think there are people who already have the newer version, and he does come with like the gargoyle stand and stuff, which is cool. But I could 3D print one if I wanted, make my own for that. So that part of it, I don't, it's cool, but like it's not a huge selling point for me. But yeah, no, it's. I don't think there's a ton of stuff that I'm aware of right now, but I know like we're still in January and there's going to be a lot. I mean, anything that they announce for the retro Spidey line, I'm pretty much going to be in on. The only one I didn't get Cyborg Spider-Man, and I didn't get the negative suit Spider-Man, but all the other figures in that line I got because I think they're awesome. So anything that they announce, hopefully, I would love to see a Rhino. I would love to see a new Doc Ock. I don't have the old Doc Ock, and I kind of regret not getting him now when I could have. But yeah, anything like that, I'm going to be 100% in on.
Yeah, I pre-ordered a few comics, but I didn't feel like 796 Studios post his by his like I'm pretty sure like half of my 2 or 3 of my Mafex has come from him or D when they post theirs for sale.
Yeah.
And they still before I would have got pre-order from Big Bag Toy Store, so I got to stop ordering for those guys. I need to go straight to Miami.
Yeah, if I were to get it, I was looking at Big Bad Toy Store for Hush, but maybe we can kind of transition into stuff we picked up, and I can start out.
One question I had: are you into Super 7 at all?
Not yet. So like the thing about me is that I try to like control myself in terms of like new lines because I know how I am, and if like for example. I didn't have any Mafex before, right? And so I didn't really know what I was missing. Then I got this guy, and I was like, oh, God, he's so cool. I really need to get, the Hush one, which is the original one I wanted. So if I feel like I also loved when I was a kid Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, but I don't have any of the Lightning collection because I know I'll tell myself, okay, the Red Ranger was your favorite, just get the Red Ranger. Then I'll get him, and I'll be like, I need to get all the other original Rangers. Then I need to get the Green Ranger. Then I need to get the White Ranger. Then I need villains. So it's like this thing that I know I'll spiral out of control on when I get into a new line. So I try not to do that.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to say, I picked up these, right, because I needed to buy something at Target. These are the Mattel He-Man, and I actually really enjoyed them. So, and I've heard a lot of people talk about Super 7, and they're basically modeled after these.
Yeah.
So, a couple of things that they got coming out this year. I'm going to get into Super 7 Thundercats. No one else is doing Thundercats. They're doing it. They're also, I think they're going to do the just had the Tumbler. Is it the Tumbler?
Silverhawks.
Huh?
Silverhawks?
Vehicle, the 1/12 scale vehicle.
Oh,
I think it's the the Tumbler, right? Not Tumbler. What is it called?
They were talking about it last night on the Toy Bro Unparalleled. I can't remember what it's called either.
Yeah, that's where I heard it. Okay, I couldn't remember. But I remember having that toy as a kid and loving it. My mom worked at not Toys R Us, but Children's Palace. I don't know if you guys remember that. But that was like another Toys R Us. They went under back in the late 90s or early 90s. But I got all the toys back then because she worked there. That's one of the toys I had. And I've made a commitment. I'm going to buy all Super 7, my backtrack, Super 7 Thundercats. And then I'm hoping to get that Thundercat vehicle. What is it called? Now I got to go look it up.
while you're doing that, I'm going to talk about some of the stuff that I got since our last live stream in early December. So the first thing I'm going to talk about was a gift from my friend Mike, who was very generous. He got me a Remnant Trooper. And so one of the lines that I wasn't trying to get into, but then just got a few figures of and loved was the Black Series, because I do like Star Wars. I won't say that I'm like a hardcore Star Wars fan. Like, I don't know all the trivia or anything, but I do love Jedis and I love The Mandalorian, and I've, seen all the movies and everything. And so this Remnant Trooper was really cool. When I first got this guy, that's what inspired me to do that first terrain dial that I did this month of the 3. And so he's just been a lot of fun to pose. And then, so when Mike and I met up, he actually gave me this as a gift, which was super nice. And then, I had to return the favor, so I bought him lunch because I didn't come with a gift. So I had to do something to return the favor. And then,
sounds like a good friend.
What's that?
Sounds like a good friend.
No, you dude, I was so surprised when you did that. And then, so then for Christmas, so I had bought this kind of a weird story, the Black Series Beskar Mando. I had bought this from my brother-in-law when I made that Mando dial, but I bought the Mando figure to go with it so that, because he didn't have him. So I had said to some of my family, like, I love this guy and I wish I could have him. And I was going to buy him if I didn't get him for Christmas. And so I got him as a gift from my in-laws, which was super just awesome. And then once I had him, I saw this guy on Amazon for like, I think I got him for like $9.99 or something. Baby Yoda, the single releases, not the 2-pack. So I just got the 2 single releases, and I love that. And then my favorite character from Star Wars is young Obi-Wan Kenobi. This was another gift from my in-laws. So I went from having like Kylo Ren, Captain Phasma, just to have like for trade show Star Wars pieces, like to put in dios, to having like all these legit Star Wars Black Series figures. So I'm definitely like in on all of them now. And so that's one of the things I was telling you, I try not to get into like new lines too much because I know I'll get too into it and want to get all these figures.
Yeah, I get pulled in pretty easily.
Especially when you see all the pictures and reviews and everything that everyone is doing.
Yeah, and it's the shows that I really loved as a kid, right? And I want them in some action figure form because I plan on doing pictures with them at some point, but I never get the opportunity to. So I like acquire all these different scenes. Like I think about these scenes that I want to do, and I get those figures, and at some point I'll do them. But
speaking of which, are you going to get Bardock? The SH Figure Arts Bardock?
Yeah, I won't pre-order anything anymore from SH because it ends up cheaper. At least the first year, and then it goes up after that.
Or it ends up at the bottom of the Pacific Ocean, like Kid Gohan. I was supposed to get that for Christmas, and mine's in the bottom of the Pacific Ocean. So, did you hear about that?
No.
So,
buy any of them?
There was a crazy storm, I guess, coming over from, I don't know if it was Japan, and they lost a bunch of the cargo containers on a ship, and they literally like sunk to the bottom of the ocean. And a lot of people's Kid Gohans were in there, including mine. So
all I see is Gohan like looking up through water, like drowning right now.
And yeah, someone should go down there and scuba dive and just find them all. They're probably destroyed, but yeah, I'm getting the Piccolo that you got, and actually I'll be getting that this week because it just came in as it was supposed to be a Christmas gift. And then the Gohan, I was gonna do like a really cool updated Planet Namek because I haven't done one in like a year and a half, and I could feel like I could do a lot better now. And I was gonna just like pose them all in there because my favorite saga is the Namek side. Oh, you're opening it. Yeah, man, open it up. I need to see what that's like. But so the Namek saga is my favorite, and so I've kind of decided that I'm gonna select certain figures from that saga and only collect those. Like if they ever come out with Saiyan armor Krillin or the armor that Vegeta has that has it's just the white. It doesn't have like the Saiyan what the heck would you call it? They're not the pauldrons, but the straps. It's just the white with the darker. It's almost like a black Under Armour kind of thing that they wear under the Saiyan armor. If those figures come out, I'll definitely get them. But I decided to pass on the Ginyu Force just because there's like we had a limited amount of Namek Saga figures, and then they gave us the whole Ginyu Force that you had to pre-order to get most of them, and then First Form Frieza, and all at once. And I was like, I can't do this. Like I can't buy all of them. Yeah, and he's like $120 because he comes with a little flying pod that he comes with.
Yeah.
And like he's an interchangeable piece, so you can peg him in. He has like permanent legs in there that you can peg in, or then he has like legs that you can, like regular legs that you can walk with.
So this is dope. It's got a peg and it's magnetic. There's actually some articulation to the. I'm gonna get us off good ones. I've already reached out to DB19 Customs or Daredevil 19 Customs.
Oh, dude, Daredevil 19 is awesome. He actually has bought several dials from me, and I bought a Doctor Doom cape from him. Fantastic cape. I'm getting one for this Mando from him. He has.
I got my Mando.
Yeah, I'm getting because this is actually pretty good for I feel like for like a static cape. But I really want it because I just love this figure. He deserves. There's several figures in my collection that need wired capes. Like my Thor, my 80th anniversary Thor. I can't even pose him because the cape weighs him down. I've been meaning to get him, the Magneto, a cape, wired cape. Just certain ones that I really want to have that ability to make more dynamic photos of.
Yeah.
Jay's Fig says that Daredevil 19's Piccolo cape is amazing. They do great work. I think it's him and his fiance that make the capes, and he's also like a really nice guy. Like I've dealt with him quite a bit, and he's always been very cool to deal with.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I told him I like anything he's got. So.
And I like his action figure reviews too, because he does do a lot of different reviews.
Yep, I like this figure. I've always been a huge fan of, obviously the first one's hard to get. This one's out with that cape, the soft goods, it'll just make this figure. And then I was hoping to get Gohan, but you don't see them for sale. Maybe that's why the shipments.
Well, so this is what's happening. Apparently they're investigating what happened. That's going to take, like, they said up to a month. But so in my mind, that's going to take 3 months for them to investigate it. And then I don't know if they're reproducing all these figures that are in the ocean or now, or if they're waiting till that investigation's over. So in my mind, I'm not getting that Gohan until June or July. Like, I'm just going to say that and hope that I get him sooner. But it's, it is what it is. It's not their fault, but it's just unfortunate.
Yeah. This figure's dope. Always wanted to Piccolo. And this 2.0 body is a whole lot.
Well, isn't that supposed to be Piccolo after he like fuses with with Kami and like gets like all bulked up and he's like a Super Namekian?
Yeah, you can see like he's definitely.
Yeah. That I'm gonna have that next week. I'm really pumped to get that. That's awesome.
I was surprised, dude. I just ordered it yesterday because my glue gun broke on me. And that's one of like the staples in the diorama game is a glue gun. So I was like, I need it by tomorrow. And I saw Piccolo. I was like, oh, he's available. And I ordered him last night, like 8 o'clock, and then he showed up today.
Yeah. Now, I forgot to show you guys another. So I got the Black Cat too since we last did a live stream, and then I got this J. Jonah Jameson, but I don't know what the heck is up, but I cannot bend this elbow. I have not tried to heat it up yet, but I'm pretty disappointed. I got to the point where I was like, I'm gonna break this if I try to bend it. I have to try to heat it up and see if that'll help, but hopefully I can work with this guy, because I have been wanting a J. Jonah, because I never got the chameleon figure that had the J. Jonah head back in the day before I was really collecting.
Yeah, sorry, I was reading through some comments.
No, that's okay.
Everybody likes. I do have, I think it's the old school Future Trunks, and I bought like a used one that was missing some pieces because I was desperate. But I would like for them to come out with like I would say like a super trunk, like Dragon Ball Z Super Trunks version. I like him a little bit better in there.
I know, like, when he was in the BoJack movie and he has like the Future Trunks outfit kind of look, but he has like the longer hair. A lot of people like that too. And I've seen a lot of customs of that. I forgot to mention too, and I can't believe I did. This was one of the figures I wanted the most last year, and I mentioned this on our first live stream that I was hoping my wife would get this for me for Christmas, and she did. The Deluxe War Machine, and man, this guy is insane, just like everybody was saying. He's so cool. Behind Retro Spidey, he's my favorite legend from last year. Like, those are the top two for me.
Yeah, and he looked great with the 8th anniversary.
Yes. Yeah.
Speaking of, I got this book today. Dude, this has got some awesome Jack Kirby art of Iron Man. I just want to show this off real quick.
Yeah.
This is like Jack Kirby. Oh, you guys can't see it. I'm sorry, guys. This is some original drawing, but oh well, you guys can't see it. I'm sorry. It looks terrible.
That's all right.
But dude, like the Jack
Kirby, take your word for it.
was awesome. It made me think of classic Iron Man.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else? You pick up anything else? Oh, here we go. That's a good one.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah.
Let me see. So we actually kind of covered all the stuff that we had mapped out for the agenda. So unless anyone has any comments or questions they want us to go over, probably getting close to closing it out.
Yeah, you want to go into like a fire round of questions and like put the questions on the screen, and if anybody's got any.
Yeah, if we get some questions in, we can definitely do that.
Just picked up yeah, so I think there's like a 30-minute or 30-second delay on the chat.
The questions, the comments.
Adam
Gonzalez has asked a few times if we're getting the Kickstarter spawn. I'm not. I don't have any McFarlane figures.
Yeah, I got the trilogy pack, so the classic, the modern, and the artistic render with the signature. Maximo Hernandez definitely wants to know about G.I. Joe Classified.
Yeah. So I'm not qualified to talk about G.I. Joe Classified because I only have Snake Eyes. So like the original Amazon or Hasbro Pulse exclusive one.
So I do collect them if I find them or someone offers them at retail. I'm not going to bow down to scalpers and pay $150 for a $20 figure. So I think there is sort of a problem, and it's probably at the Hasbro Target agreement level with the amount they're going to have in the store. Nothing we can do about it. Obviously, nothing we've said over the past year as collectors has really made a difference in 2021 with how they're going to release figures. So it is what it is. I don't know how much more we can talk about here. They look dope. I have a Firefly and, like I said, Vipers en route to me, but I don't have them in hand to say anything good about them. I have a couple Red Ninjas. I have one right here. Love them. They're a little bit loose, but overall, I think they're great figures. But I'm not going to go buy a whole bunch of them and pay more than retail. So if you can find them in the stores, that's great. But they seem to be somewhat limited.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I mean, I think they look cool. Again, it's just that thing I was saying about not trying to get into too many different lines for me. I did want to get Snake Eyes just because I think he's just awesome. But so we have a question from Star Marvel, and he just says, "Have you guys used acrylic paint to resemble wood stain?"
I mean, I've used acrylic paints to do like wood floors. I don't know if that's exactly what you're asking. I only ever use acrylic paints. I have used wood stain on foam on the a Bronx Tale, the Deuces Wild. All that brown that I've done on the pool table, on the bar, and on the wood trim is all a acrylic stain. I think it's an acrylic stain, but it's a wood stain that I used on the foam.
Yeah, for me, like, so the dojo that's back there, there's a lot of like wood beams and stuff. So I feel like when I'm trying to replicate wood, the most important thing that I try to do is replicate the texture on the foam, which is I learned from Terrafoamer that basically one of the best ways to do it is get the metal wire foam wire brush from the Dollar Tree. There's like a 3-pack, and wet the brush and just very lightly scrape it across the foam so you get texture without ripping the foam. And once I do that, then I just focus on getting the color right, whether that is 2 or 3 different browns or mixing in a caramel or a yellow as the first layer. And that's pretty much what I try to do with the wood. But I haven't used like stain. I've just used different colors of browns and different shades.
All right, we're gonna need a chatter moderator. Maximo, we see your message. You don't have to post it 20 times.
Yeah, I don't know anything about MMA. I don't follow it, so I'm not going to comment on that. But I hope you enjoy it.
Yeah. So, oops. One of the questions I did see, it's in here. I think it came from someone talking about Super 7. Sorry, there's a lot of Maximo questions here. Star Marvel Odious. I don't know what that is. It's supposed to be re-released several Joes of the retailers. That'd be cool. I swear I saw. Oh, there it is. Daniel H. Super 7 Conan. I think it looks awesome. I don't know if I'll go in or not on it though. It depends. I'm gonna get those Thundercat Super 7s. I might pick up Raph, Super 7, depending on how cheap I can get them. If I like them, I might get further into them. I do kind of like what they're doing. I think some of the licenses they're getting into will offer some great figs. The Ultimates, it's the price range, 50 to 60 bucks. It'd be kind of hard to really buy a whole line at that price, but I'm definitely interested. I'm Super 7 curious.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna try to get into it.
I mean, for me, I think like the way it's hard to really do this because we all know like when something comes out on retail, if you get it then, that's probably the lowest point you're going to get it at unless you get some crazy deal later and things go up in value over time. But I just feel like, if I want to get stuff, I'm only 2.5 years into like collecting as an adult. I collected as a kid and then I kind of got rid of stuff. So I feel like I have my whole life to get some of these things. Of course, I understand that if I don't get them when they come out, I'm probably going to pay more. But yeah, I'm just going to try to stick to the lines that I'm in right now, which is mostly Marvel Legends, a little bit of Black Series, and that's kind of it right now, just to try to keep more affordable. But so we have Vern's Hobbies has a question about 2-lane roads, and I think he said it's called a road crown, which honestly I wasn't familiar with that term. But basically, he's saying that 2-lane.
Maximo, can you if not, we're gonna have to put you in timeout. I don't want to have to limit any comments or anything, but want to make sure we can read other people's comments, and you're basically spamming. So If you can't chill, we'll have to take action. Please acknowledge. If not, we'll have to put you in the out. Sorry, dude.
Yeah, but so with this road crown thing, if I was making like a 2-lane highway, I would probably, if you have a Proxon, I would think that you could create some pieces that I would start with like a thicker cut, and then make an angle cut identical, and then have it like a very gradual incline into the middle. If you're just using a box cutter, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I'd be able to do that. I'd probably need to use my Proxon to make that happen.
Yeah, I give a lot of props to people who can do that. I can probably do that on 1 or 2 dios, but the older I get, the shakier my hands are. And I'll be honest, I have bad wrists. So, like, example, I worked in Publix, and I was a chicken fryer for a day, and I didn't realize how much chicken goes through Publix. But I couldn't hold the box for more than an hour before my hands cramped up. So I had to rely on tools, and you guys notice I'm a tool guy, so that's where the tools come in. I can only do so many things with my hands before they get like numb and kind of lose the ability to be very dexterous. That's the right word.
If you guys want to follow somebody that's a magician with a box cutter, follow Sage JDG on Instagram, Josh Green. He doesn't use anything except for like an X-Acto and a box cutter. And I don't know how he does some of the stuff he does. He's also a Carolina-based diorama artist like Mike and I. He's in I think the Charlotte area, and so yeah, I think we're gonna have to go ahead and time this out, Mike. I don't know. Yeah. I'm gonna try to do that because I don't like what I'm seeing here.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, guys. Detour Custom says Josh Green is the man. He definitely is. Super talented dude, really nice guy. So,
yeah, hopefully we can get him on the live stream later in the year. I don't know if
Yeah, I think we definitely can, and he's somebody that I want to try to get involved in some of this stuff. Hopefully in person when we're able to do that.
Hey. Congratulations. You got 500 subscribers and you got you a toy bandit. Congratulations. You're YouTube famous.
I don't even know what you're talking about, to be honest with you.
The toy bandit always shows up in everybody's chat and just does a bunch of crazy stuff. You have your own toy bandit for Maxima.
There we go. I didn't even know about that.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt.
No, that's okay. But you know what, guys? I am going to have to get going soon because I am painting my soon-to-be son's room tomorrow. And painting, even though I like painting dios, painting rooms is not my favorite thing. And I need to make sure I'm not super tired in the morning.
Yeah, no, that's totally understandable. I think we've been on almost 3 hours. And yeah, I think it's been a good stream. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hopefully we're able to answer the questions. I'm always free through a DM on Instagram.
Yep. Same here. And it's been pretty crazy because we kind of got to the point where we held 20 people in here for most of the time, you know, after the first half hour or so. So thank you guys so much for subscribing. If you have subscribed to my channel, please also subscribe to Mike's channel. Mike is going to be doing a lot of really cool stuff. He's going to be having a lot more live streams than I do like this with other people. So if you liked this, you should consider subscribing to his stuff and checking out the videos that he's going to have coming up. And I know that he's been doing a lot of really cool tutorial stuff too. I'm going to be trying to do some more of that this year too. So please make sure you're showing him that love as well and subscribing to his stuff. But thank you guys so much for tuning in with us tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. There's quite a few people in the chat that we've invited on, and so it's gonna be great. Yeah, tune in Saturdays 9 o'clock. We're gonna be interviewing other artists, diorama artists in the community. So I think it's gonna be fun getting to know all those creators out there that you see on Instagram more personally. and just talk about toys, dioramas, and we'll be doing this hopefully throughout the year.
Yeah, and as far as the two of us go, we'll probably be meeting back up sometime in March. We have to figure those details out. Next month is going to be a challenge, but Mike and I are trying to do one of these at least once a month because it seems like people enjoy them and we enjoy doing this. So we enjoy talking to each other and talking to you guys. So thank you guys very much.
Yep. Cool.
All right. With that said, we'll see you guys later. And everybody enjoy your figures, enjoy your dioramas, and we'll talk soon.
Yep. See you at 1 tomorrow for the sticker swap. 1 o'clock.
Sounds good.
All right.
See you, man.